The following show may contain strong language and content of an adult nature and has been classified by FM104 as unsuitable for those under 15 years of age. Now, live from Dublin's Docklands, this is the FM104 Phone Show with Chris Barry and Keith Ward.
Oh, I suppose we should do late traffic news as well. The amount of people still shopping at this hour is just, it's a crime at this stage. A lot of very bored lads hanging in car parks are not the place to be, let me tell you. It was bedlam some of the centres. Anyway, if you're on the way home from all your shopping, we've got something for you a little bit later on to calm you down. It is the Phone Show. It is Monday. It's the 21st of December. 6797 FM104 is our phone number. 53104 for 20 cents. If there is anything you want to get off your chest, please do. And I tell you why. Because of the day that was in it, people they've been on the blower to us. They've been giving us a few emails. It's very stressful shopping. And it's very stressful when the kids go absolutely, when they go off on one, they go AWOL. It's not just them getting lost, but it's, can you imagine, when you're a kid and you're seeing all these great things in it, some of the big shopping centres and supermarket, followed by those lovely words, I want it. And I want. And they mean, I want. And there's no going away. No, honey, you can't have that yet. Santa might bring that to you if you're a good boy. He wants it there and then, now.
I was probably one of those children.
Were you?
I think so, yeah. You see it all the time. I feel sorry for some of the parents that had to put up with that stuff. But you see it every year. There's tantrums and...
Oh, God knows, there's tantrums and there's real tantrums. Because a lot of text messages came in about that one. By the way, 53104 for 20 cents. 6797 FM104 is our phone. Of the text that actually came into us, Chris, is getting the last of the Christmas presents in a packed shopping centre today. The amount of bad behaved kids I saw made me sick. Kids kicking, screaming, demanding that the parents buy certain things, and of course the parents giving in, because they've no idea how to be a parent. Ouch. Mainly because they're not allowed to smack a child, not even now. We're bringing up a nation of spoiled brats whose parents are afraid to say boo to them. Sarah is a mother, by the way. It's not a happy punter.
I think that could be a fair point.
Really?
I've seen it in Super, especially over Christmas. The parents are afraid to say anything. Let me get this right. You're not allowed to smack kids at all now. No. That happened last week. Why is that?
The defence you had last time. What was it last time? You weren't technically allowed to, but there was a sort of a defence in the legislation where you could kind of justify it, but now it's just outlawed. You can't. There's no defence anymore.
I see. So if your child is acting up,
nothing you can do.
Throwing a tantrum.
Nothing. You just absolutely zilch, zero. Not a thing.
You just politely sit there, do you? Yep. Wait for them to finish. Meanwhile, everyone's head is wrecked. Yep. They're embarrassing you. And the child will just grow up to not know any different. No, I think you should be allowed. Smack slightly. I think you should.
I can see it coming already. It happened to me when I was a child, Chris, and I was fine. But, however, do we have that little clip? You got to hear this, because we've all seen this. You probably saw this today, folks. I saw it on Friday. And I'll see it tomorrow as well. What do you do when Mammy and Daddy, you're at the checkout, kid is going absolutely AWOL? Have a listen to this. Let me describe this little fella. He's in the shopping trolley in his little seat, and he's pointing. He wants something, and he wants it now. The mother is ignoring him. There's a load of people around him. Everyone's embarrassed. Nobody knows what to do, and it's really stressful. I can see some parents in the car right now looking in the rearview mirror saying, that was you earlier on, Johnny. You were doing that in whatever shopping centre it is. Anyway, tell us, We'd love to know how you handle those situations. But you reckon
that's a child that deserves a smack. That is a child that deserves a smack.
That's a child out of control, and the only way to bring him or her under control is a little smack.
Well, what the mother is doing there is she's ignoring the child, okay?
Yeah.
So, okay, fair enough. She's not going to give it attention. But at the same time, she's still allowing the child to go on like that. This video goes on for about 7 minutes of this child screaming. Everyone's looking around. Everyone's head is wrecked by it. The only person whose head doesn't look wrecked is the mother herself. Now, I do feel sorry for her. I agree she shouldn't be giving the child attention, but at what point does the mother step in and say, give the child a smack and tell it to cop on? Now, I'm not saying to smack across the face, maybe in the backside or something, but something has to be done. And you see it, Chris, you see this every weekend in shopping centres, and I partially agree with the texter.
Do you know what I'd love to know? If you're working in any of the big stores, give us a ring, because this guy's going wild. Oh, thank God we can turn the sound up and down. Imagine if you can't. 6797 FM104 is the phone number. 53104 for 20 cents. How would you handle that? We want to know. And especially if it was your little child. 53104 for 20 cents. You see, some of them, they do this deliberately because they just get away with it, and they do it well.
But this is it.
They do it really well.
This is it. And we now have people going on a mad one now, and me, 53104, for saying the disgrace that I said that child deserves a smack. Well, what else? What else can you do? I don't agree that just by ignoring the child for 10 minutes straight that it's going to learn its lesson. Meanwhile, everyone else's head is wrecked around it. I'm sorry, just give it a smack in the backside and tell the child to cop on. I'm sure that's what went on back in the day, didn't it?
That's what you're going to do when you have your little kids. In a few years' time, you'll say, I don't care what the law is, they're my children, and if they need a good slap, they'll get one.
If they need a bit of a smack to say cop on, quit your tantrum, yeah, well, they'll have to. Otherwise, what can you do? You can't go through life with a screaming child every time it wants something. And I'd say the mother is just ignoring the child because I assume she doesn't want to give the child attention. That's grand. Meanwhile, we're all subjected
to that child just because you're practicing some sort of calm parenting, whatever. Just smack the bloody child. I'm surprised no one else walked up and smacked the child themselves. You probably would.
I know you probably would. Seriously, is it gone too PC now, where parents can't even discipline their children when they're completely acting up, like they're going over the top, especially in some of the because it was really busy today, big supermarkets, everyone was a little bit they were doing traffic news at 3 this afternoon. Some of the big car parks in the shopping centres were jammed completely, and everyone got a little bit touchy, and the last thing you need is one of these kids doing that. Anyway, let us know. 6797 FM104 is our phone number. That and a lot more we've to get through. We've another incredible story about taxis, but this is a little bit different. This is some taxi driver being a little bit seedy because loads of Christmas parties in the past few days. It is bedlam, absolutely bedlam out there. The parties continue tonight. So what happened? Well, we'll tell you exactly what happened. This girl got into the taxi. She wasn't happy, and it wasn't nothing to do with the fare. All that was fine. It was the attitude, a little bit sleazy. Real sleaze bag. We'll tell you the story about that a little bit later. And then we have an incredible story because, as you know, a lot of Irish, remember the recession? Yeah, hasn't gone away, yeah, remember that old thing.
Remember the recession? Well, a lot of Irish went to Australia and they have their lives out there. However, there's a lot of folks are coming back this Christmas and they have a new lifestyle which they didn't tell anybody about. And now poor old dad is going to get the shock of his life. We have an incredible story about that for you a little bit later. 6797 FM104 is our phone number. Mary is on line 1. Mary, you're live on FM104. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, thanks.
Now, you're not happy with Keith. He thinks, slap the child, no bother.
Yeah, he has to be winding us up.
He's he looked at that video and he says, couldn't handle it.
I'm right in saying he doesn't have kids, am I?
Not yet, but there's all... I'd say he'd probably have about 3 or 4. And I can imagine that would... I know, Keith, that would not happen in his shopping trolley.
Right, okay. Well, firstly, the ignoring thing, although it's unbearable to do, it is the best thing to do because it's ignoring kind of negative behaviour and then rewarding positive behaviour. It's classic. It's textbook, but it works.
To be fair, she was good at. I better tell you about the video. She blanked him out. I mean, he was giving it socks. He was giving a full blast of the lungs. He was throwing stuff at her
for 7 to 9 minutes.
She didn't. I mean, we couldn't take more than 2 minutes of this. We cut the sound off. And the manager was going over in the supermarket. Here's the lollipop, and she pushed the lollipop away. No, give him nothing. Absolutely. I saw a guy last year, was actually quite funny. All I can say, everyone in Tesco and Dunleary, may God have mercy on your soul, they'll remember this guy. He wanted to now. What 8-year-old wants a red kettle? They don't really. He just did. He just decided he wanted a red kettle. They had this big display done, massive display. He demolished it. He wrecked it. Absolutely wrecked it. And the mother, in a very calm voice, said, "No, you can't have it." So then he went into Boots, right, in the same centre and decides, well, I'll trash that too. Then Boots got destroyed. And then security came down and said, can you try and get control of your 8-year-old? Then he attacked little old ladies with shopping trolleys. This guy was only 8. He was something else. So now, Keith, if that was your child, he was actually wrecking the gaff.
That's a child that deserves
a smack.
To be smacked. It's no use a parent ignoring the child if the child's wrecking the place.
I understand that's the parent's frustration, but there's absolutely zero good can come out of it. It doesn't work. I have 2 children myself. I unfortunately have to admit that I've done the whole smack on the bum and just out of my own temper, I suppose.
Because you're human. You're human, Mary.
Because I'm human, but it doesn't work. The tantrums get worse. They cry even more because then they actually have a real reason to cry. They feel sorry for themselves. It doesn't work. Whereas the crying does eventually fade when it's ignored, and what's the outcome really is over a long time of doing this, they eventually learn that the tantrum doesn't work. Although ignoring works there and then.
I have to admit one thing, just to go back to the story of this kid who wrecked Tesco and Boots and everything else. His mum remained completely calm all the way through it.
There you go. And maybe
that's good. I'm glad for the mother. Meanwhile, everywhere else got wrecked.
Everything that moved, big displays that obviously it took them a long time to make. I could see the staff going, "Jesus, what are you doing? Look at this." He was like a JCB. He was 8 years old, but a big tall display. He just demolished it. If he couldn't have it, nobody else was going to have it. And
she should have tried the ignoring thing a few years before he was 8.
Yeah, I think she was a bit late reading that book. Hold on, Eddie, you're with Keith on this one. Slap them.
All right, kids.
How you doing?
How's it going?
You would, absolutely.
I've done it already.
Oh, you have?
I have. I was in a shop and the young fella ran amok, you know what I mean?
Okay.
This week.
Was it your young fella or somebody else's young fella?
My own young fella, yeah.
Okay, right.
Kid, you know.
What did you do? What did you do?
I'm running amok, like, so I give him a good slap in the ass, like, you know what I mean?
And that's what we're talking about, slapping the backside.
Your woman behind the counter, like, she was like in shock, like,
right.
You know. So I to me, like, it was nothing. Do you know what I mean, kid? Because I would not have my kids throwing a tantrum. And the other way that woman said that she slaps her kids there, and
yeah, well, she tried it.
Didn't work for her.
Didn't work, yeah.
Well, what I do is I do the 5-minute time out and all that. I'll tell you one thing: he doesn't try an apple crisp.
And it works for you.
It works perfect.
And do you get annoyed? See what everyone's afraid of here. If you get a bit annoyed and you slap the kid, you're going to give it a wallop, an absolute wallop.
Oh, I wouldn't give him a wallop. He knows how to push my boundaries. Like, you know, he knows. I just give him one look and he'll stop. You know.
Here's a text message in from Kev who says you can't hit children. You're only teaching them that it's okay to hit out. Well, my argument would be, if you're going to just completely ignore a child and allow it to have a tantrum for 15 minutes, surely you're saying, yeah, that's fine. That's grand as well. That's acceptable.
That's giving the child, exactly. That's giving the child what he wants, you know what I mean? A good fucking slap, that's what I do.
Anyway. Read a few books, okay? Good night.
I don't need to read a few books from him. You'd want to do a few books.
Well, hang on, Owen, you're not impressed with Eddie at all, are you?
Nah, I think there's The people are over exaggerating here where like the slap works. The slap doesn't work. The slap antagonises it to make it a lot worse. They'll just ignore the child, put him in a corner, lock them in a room for half an hour, tell them that's that. And they learn better rather than giving them a good clap. They're giving them a clap that's just going to show them.
You look at in a room for a half an hour, mate. They're going to, that's not good for a child, you know what I mean?
And then this isn't the only person to blame for that kid being allowed to get away with it for half an hour yourself. No one else.
Not at all, mate. I'm telling you. Hold on, mate. You have it all wrong, yeah. You have it all wrong, mate.
Hold on a second. You were saying slapping your child is going to actually make a cop.
Slapping the child is giving the child 5 minutes time out, mate.
Slapping the child is giving the child every reason to slap his friends if he wants to go back to school. Slap whoever's on the street when he's out playing or in the flats or wherever he's from.
No, I'm telling you, mate. I have no trouble. I have no trouble with my kids. No trouble.
Since you gave them a slap, you have no trouble, Eddie. That's what you're saying.
I gave him a slap. I have no trouble at all.
Can I ask you a straight question? If that was your kid, the little piece we played of the kid having a tantrum in a supermarket, if that was your kid, you're saying a slap actually works for you?
I'd have took him out of fucking pram and I'd give him a good fucking wallop and put him back into it and said no. That's simple as.
Now you're contradicting yourself. You said a second ago you don't give your kid a wallop, you give him a little slap in the bum. So which one is it?
Yeah.
You just said a good. I don't even think you could rub two and two together and get 4 pads. You sound strung out your head in the phone.
Oh my God! Are you for real, mate?
Yeah, I am.
If I was you, I'd hang up and go ring on the radio show, mate. To be honest with you.
Listen, pal, you're all for slapping and walloping your kids. I think you start, as your woman said, read a few books there and get a bit of cop on or open a bottle of cop on for yourself.
So, Owen, let me just say, Owen, you kind of think that that if a child's having a tantrum, just let it have a tantrum, just let it cry itself out. Even if it's in front of everyone and, people are trying to get on with their day and it's incredibly annoying.
This day and age, people have seen everything. So a child throwing a tantrum or screaming or crying, it's not going to make a difference this day and age.
I think your man is full of shite, to be honest.
Listen, pal, you're just a Brit on the radio giving the larger batting your kids, so just go off the radio.
I don't bat me kids. I just give them a little wallop on the hole, you know what I mean?
So, all right, Keith, you were saying earlier on if the situation was as we actually just roll that again if we can for Eddie. Eddie, just have a listen to this. All right, if somebody is absolutely losing it, your kid is absolutely losing it. So your kid is in the supermarket, he's misbehaving, he's screaming, I want this, I want that. You've said no, that isn't working. What what works for you is to give him a good wallop.
Well, it's at the end of the day, right? I'll give him a couple of warnings,
Yeah, and if that doesn't work,
and if he started that tantrum that time, I just gave him a good wallop and that was it. He knew.
And did it work for you? Did he stop crying?
He stopped crying.
Or screaming or ranting?
With the shock he got, he just stopped. He just stopped straight away.
Okay.
Because I had never hit him before,
Okay, hold on a second. How many people agree with Eddie? If you've seen that kid, a lot of you are ringing in and say, yeah, you've seen the kid, you've been to the shopping today, you know exactly what Eddie is talking about. 6797 FM104 is our phone number here. It must be difficult for people if you've had a hard day, but one guy just rang in and said, my God, that man is prehistoric, Chris. How could he? He'd give his kid a good wallop. He said he'd give him a few warnings and then give him a few wallops.
But we're acting like Eddie here is some sort of, is alone here, is some sort of monster dad. There's plenty of parents out there who have disciplined their child by giving them a smack in the backside. I'm not talking about serious abuse, we're talking about a smack on the backside to cop themselves on. And I don't agree with this thing going, now be nice and calm now and ignore the child for a good hour even if the child is screaming. Meanwhile, the child is subjecting themselves and everyone else around them. And how does that teach them? Just because they're being ignored, how does that teach them what they're doing is wrong? It just allows them to keep doing it.
We'll find out more after the break. 6797 FM104 is our phone number. Other people calling us in, by the way, the staff who work in supermarkets, they hate you. They really, really do. We're back after this.
Chris Perry on the FM104 Phone Show. The man who gets Dublin talking. Miss him. Miss out. FM104.
Welcome back to you. 6797 FM104 is our phone number. 53104 for 20 cent. Load of staff calling us in now, exhausted today. I mean exhausted, saying, Chris, we can understand Eddie. There are a lot of people agreeing with Eddie, saying, yeah, sometimes you have to hit them. And we're not talking about beating the hell out of them, but just hit them once. Because this is some people are running away with themselves. Oh my God, it's very violent. No, a little smack isn't that violent. However, what do you do? I mean, do you allow the poor child to go absolutely wild? Well, some people are. 53104 for 20 cents. In other words, Chris, I would have dropped my trolley, picked up the child, got into my car and took him home. Smacking does not work. Why should you have to do all that?
Grand, so you'll never get anything done then in that case, no?
So if the child acts up, that's it. Shopping is over, you're never going anywhere. Is Mary still there?
No, I think Mary. Mary hung up because she disagreed with someone's opinion. It's just very mature parenting, I think. There you go.
It is a little bit. But is Eddie right? Eddie, you're convinced you're right?
I know I'm right, mate. You know what I mean, Chris? I'm right.
Because you said, how old was your kid, by the way, when you gave him a good wallop?
He's 5.5, Nico, pushing on 6.
Okay, and what did he do that was so bad? Just acted up really badly, was it?
Well, I brought him into the shop to get some sweets, you know, and I had, I think, £1 on me or something, you know.
Right.
The sweets he wanted were £2, you know, so I was saying, like, I've only £1, and he started, you know, running them up, like, crying and all, and I was saying, hey, hold on a minute, mate, you know. What's going down here? And he made a show me, like, he was really...
He was really kicking off, yeah.
So I gave him a slap in the arse. I put the crisps back and I said, you'll not be having them now. So,
nothing. Absolutely nothing. All right, hang on a second.
And he stopped.
I said, no way, you're getting it. I brought him home. I told his mum was disgusted that I had given him a slap in the arse, like, but it worked. It didn't. He hasn't done that like again. You know what I mean?
Okay. I'm just wondering how many people listening on the way home in the car right now from your late night shopping would you... to be honest, I tell you what, can we actually do something really honest here? Give us a text on 53104 for 20 cent. Just tell us, would you have done exactly what Eddie has done? Don't give me the politically correct story. Give me the real one. Because don't worry about what everyone else thinks. You actually tell us what you actually would do. So maybe that's the real thing to say. Hang on a sec, Eddie. Kev is also on the phone. Kev, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
Not bad. I don't think you're with Eddie here in his smacking.
No. There's other ways to deal with it.
Didn't work for him.
Not everything works for everyone.
So what are you saying? If the smacking works for you, fine.
Well, he shouldn't really resort to the smacking straight away.
Well, he didn't.
Well, there's other ways to deal with it, you know.
Kev, what do you think is so? What do you think is so wrong about smacking?
There, boy.
So you're saying it's all right, mate, for that kid, what he's done today?
I'll tell you, it's basically teaching them it's okay to lash out whenever they.
No, it's not. What hang on, you're jumping the gun here. You're turning around and saying, okay, if you slap your child on the bum of the leg, whatever, you're teaching him to be violent and beat the crap out of somebody. That's not quite true, is it? You're just jumping the gun completely there now.
Well, hang on. In that case, then, is, just ignoring your child for a half an hour while you have a tantrum, is that just basically allowing them to have a tantrum without any repercussions? Because you're not really telling them it's wrong. You're just ignoring them, but they're going to continue to do it. So they're going to think it's obviously acceptable because, they've not been told otherwise. They haven't been smacked, they haven't been told to cop themselves on. They're just continuously having a tantrum. I don't think that works either.
Here's what, actually, sorry guys, got to bring in some of the text messages coming in now. 53104 for 20 cents. Anyone who say they don't smack their kids, they're liars. I have 2 boys, and if they're acting up, whether it's at home or out, they get a smack. And it works every single time. That's from John. So, the politically correct people are saying, oh no one ever smacks a child. They do. They actually do. I mean, Kev, you realise as well as I do and everyone else that the politically correct thing to say in public or on social media or on radio is, oh no, I never do this. I read all the books from Oprah Winfrey or whoever, good parenting. But they actually do slap them. The reality is very different. Oh, just put the phone down.
Yeah, it's gone.
He's gone.
Is that another person?
The PC brigade keep putting the phone down.
What is it about the PC brigade? When you argue with them at all, they just hang up. What did Mary say? Read a book and then hung up the phone. That's not a great example to be teaching your kids either. You disagree with someone's opinion, so what do? You just disengage.
Do you know what I thought was quite funny here? We did ask people to text in. Now they are, because and they're saying, yes, if we're being really honest, we actually do hit them. We don't mean to, we do. Yeah, you gave them a slap, just a little slap. We know it's illegal, and but the politically correct thing. If you're in public now, you'll say, "Oh God, no, I never do that." You're a liar. You actually do.
Do you think
people are lying through their teeth?
Do you think there's parents that smack their kids behind closed doors?
Of course they do. I'm talking a little smack now. Nothing OTT. But to turn around, because it's now a public thing. Oh my God, what will people think of me? Mary's on Facebook saying it's an awful thing to do. And I can guarantee you that Mary on Facebook actually doesn't slap her kids. Mary's a liar. There are lots of hypocrites going around. Have you noticed in this country, like the politically correct mob will jump on whatever
the professionally offended.
Well, jump on a bandwagon and swear blind that no one actually does it in this country. And if you do it, you're a bad parent and you're a horrible human being and you know nothing and you haven't, read the books from Oprah.
Look, what about all the people who were smacked or slapped when they were younger? Say, in the 1980s and 70s when it was the done thing to do. I mean, they can't all be emotionally scarred people. Surely,
and you can't say that every single parent in the 1980s and 1990s, there were bad parents because they gave you a little slap.
No.
You probably love them dearly and they're your mum and dad as we speak now, and they're not bad parents, but it was just a different way of bringing them up.
See this text now, this text coming in, this is the type of thing that does my head in. Nicole says, yeah, but where do you draw the line, Chris? I hate, so...
here we go.
Because...
Here we go.
Because you smack a child...
Shouldn't have said that.
Because you smack a child doesn't mean you're suddenly just going to go over the top and, drastically, GBH, put your child in hospital. I mean, it's common sense. You still love the child just because, where do you draw the line? No, Chris, if you allow a parent to smack a child, they'll end up beating it to death. That just wouldn't happen. Yeah, and if it does happen, they're psychopaths.
Yeah, because when people, this is what I was saying to one of the callers there, you people, Kev, you can jump the gun a bit here and say, well, there's other ways to do it. We asked how, and we all know the how, but sometimes if a child is sticking his fingers in a mains plug, I've seen people get a slap for that, and it's a little slap. That doesn't mean you're going to turn into an axe murderer and run around the place killing everyone. What about... You see, here's the guilt thing. Are you saying, if slapping is wrong, that your parents were bad and they beat you senseless? No, they didn't. They gave you a little slap. So let's not exaggerate and get the politically correct people offended. Just look at the logic here. It doesn't mean you're going to turn every single person into a psychopath.
No. Common sense has to come into it.
But still, it's only in recent years I've seen all those mad tantrums in supermarkets.
Yeah. Why
Never
is that?
saw it when I was a kid. Never saw that. Eddie, why am I only seeing it in the past few years? Never saw it when I was a kid, and very rarely when I was a kid.
Say that again, Chris.
The mad tantrums you see from some of the kids now in the supermarket. It's very rare. I didn't see it when I was a kid.
It's a different generation now, Chris. You know what I mean? Like, see that kid that was screaming there a while ago?
Yeah.
Like, that's just going to be a bold you don't buy that child. He was pure spoiled, you know what I mean?
So it's going to be a bold kid?
He's going to be a bold little bastard, God forgive me. But I'm just being honest with you, like, even when I gave my kid a slap in the shop, your woman's going around in, the shop assistant.
Yeah, and what'd she say to you?
She was shocked, and she said, you know what, you're right. Like, she said...
She agreed with you?
Yeah, because she said there's people them what they want, do you know what I mean? And they're just giving them what they want to keep them shut, to shut them up. Like,
but if you're a kid, let's be honest, kid will always push the boundaries.
Exactly.
And if you're 6 years old and you realise, if I scream a lot, I'd embarrass me ma and I'll get what I want. Well, then they're going to do it again and again and again. Hang on.
Yeah, mate.
Hang on a sec, Donna, you're blaming parents big time here, aren't you?
I do. I do. I honestly think it's parents' fault when the child has a tantrum in the first place.
And a proper tantrum, not your little ones. But
my daughter, I brought up my daughter, and never once did she have a tantrum in the shop, not once. But because for my daughter was very, very small, even starting to crawl, when she touched something she wasn't meant to touch, I just said, and she left, and she knew, and she always knew no was no. I've never had to smack her. I've never had to chastise her in any way like that, because she never misbehaved in that way. But I believe that parents nowadays buy things for their kids instead of spending time with their kids, you know. So when kids go into shops now, they believe that they have to get it, or they must get it, but they have to be allowed, and that's why they do these tantrums. My daughter didn't believe that she had to get something every shop she went into.
Do you know what's happening now, Donnie? I'm seeing the parents to kind of calm down their kids or distract them. They're giving, especially in shopping centres, they're giving them iPads.
But it's so wrong.
No, seriously, they're popping an iPad in front of them and go, there you go now. They just have a...
They do, but it's wrong. It's wrong. It's actually a form of abuse, if you like. It's a form of abuse.
You think it's a form of abuse to...
I actually think it's worse.
It's not a form of abuse. It's a form of fucking laziness.
Well, laziness, but also a form of abuse. Your child.
It's just a way of keeping the child quiet. You know what I mean?
You know, your child shouldn't be stuck in front of any tablet or anything like that for any amount of time. You know, an hour a day or something like that as a treat, but not that. Things like that should be a treat.
So you reckon, Donna, that there are a lot of, you can imagine some of the reaction that we're getting in from now, from various people saying, oh my God, how dare you even think about slapping a child? But then I said, well, hang on, what about your mum and dad who brought you up in the 1980s and 1990s? They're not all bad parents.
No.
They're good parents.
Yes.
And they did
growing up.
a little slap, nothing major.
But I'll also say the smacking that I got growing up didn't do me any good. It didn't do me any harm neither, but it didn't teach me anything either. I remember my mum smacking, and I remember thinking to myself, I'll be all right in an hour, I'll be out. But my daughter, when she did something wrong, she knew whatever I said, I meant it. So if I told her I would pick her phone up for a month, if she did something, she did it, I took the phone for a month.
And you meant it.
I meant it.
You carried it out.
I told her once that if I missed calls her and she didn't answer the phone, I would take the phone off her for every missed call a day. She didn't answer me 64 times one night. She went to a friend's house she wasn't allowed to be.
64 times.
What were you ringing her for 64 times?
You think she just turned the phone off? You think?
She had to come home from school, and it was 9 o'clock at night.
Okay, so you were worried.
4 times I was worried. She didn't answer the phone.
Fair enough.
And when eventually she got home, I opened the front door, I put my hand out, and she put the phone in my hand. She knew. And
she
for
knew.
64 days I kept that phone from her.
Oh, I tell you, Donna, I say...
She was still asking.
Donna, I'd say you're fair but fair, I'd say so.
Yeah, because in all that time, that taught my daughter that what Mummy said, she means. So if I told her she wasn't going to that birthday party of her friends, if she misbehaved, she didn't misbehave. But if I had smacked her, she would have went ahead and misbehaved. I went into shops and done all them tantrums and all them things.
Do you know something? I'm just wondering, what would you do? The story, I still haven't forgotten this story about this is in Tesco, near Dún Laoghaire, one of their branches there, who demolished, he didn't get what he wanted.
I blame the parents.
And he went, you could hear him in the next street.
I blame the parents.
He wrecked everything. He started, she said, no, you can't have that. And it was a very unusual thing that he wanted.
I think the child was just right. Because every other shop he must have went into, the parents, obviously that child thought that he was entitled to that. A child's a child. They don't think the way we think. So he thought in his head that he was entitled to that and he should get it. And who put that into his head? Only his parents.
Probably. You're right, Donna. They must be getting it from somewhere. The reason we're saying this, of course, is because, as you know, last week they did away with the legislation. You cannot hit your kids anymore. And ideally, you wouldn't want to hit them. But what a lot of people are upset now, not that they want to hit the kids, they just don't like the idea of the government telling you what you can and cannot do. It really, because it just annoys them. Dennis is on the phone. Dennis, how are you?
I'm all right.
Okay, you're agreeing with some of these people.
I agree that you can heal your child depending on the way they are behaving.
Okay, can I ask you about if a child, say if it was one of your kids in a supermarket throwing a tantrum, screaming, ranting, raving, throwing things at you, demanding that he wants that toy, what do you do?
First of all, none of my kids would do that because they know what they'll get. I will just say to them, if you get home, you're finished. They'll just keep quiet.
And when you say finish, what do you mean? What's the punishment? What's the punishment?
That means they're going to get it beaten the African way. Just the way my father beat me up, like make you lie down, give you 6 in your bums, or give you straight 6 in your hand. Very hard with a bed, straight.
What do you mean? Six, we used to call them in school, 6 the best. It's like a stick and you hit them on the hand, is it?
Yeah, you get a bed, I hit them on the hand or behind their bums. I have 6 kids and they never misbehave.
And does it work for you?
It really works in my home.
And would you do it?
4 boys and 2 girls.
Yeah.
They never misbehave.
And you see, a lot of people would say, all right, the smacking, but if you're, and you said you give them a good firm smack.
Yeah, if you do something very bad, you get 6 in your bottom. 6.
And does it hurt, do you think? Must, I
suppose.
It
will hurt them, they cry. Yeah, it pains me when they cry. I know, but I want to give them the best, just like my parents give to me. And I never hate my dad for beating me. Every day I thank him.
So you would thank you thank your dad for beating you?
Yeah, because I know a lot of my friends, a lot of them, they are dead now. They're criminals. Some are drug dealers. Some are in prison because because their dad ignored them. It permits them to do whatever they want. Keep quiet when they are throwing tantrum. Today, they are drug dealers down the street.
Okay, well, that's it. Hopefully that doesn't happen with most kids. But people will say it's, as you heard, a lot of people are saying it's wrong to hit children. The smacking them and you're hitting them hard though. That's different. You said you say, and I'm quoting what you said in your text, you beat them the African way.
The African way.
And it works for you. It's part of your culture, obviously, that you beat them.
My kids don't hate me. They love me. They know I look after them. I care for them. I give them. If they want to buy things, they behave well. They get a reward. And when you behave poorly, you get it beaten straight.
Hang on a second. Dennis, stay on that line for a sec, if you can. I want to come back to you. Can I take a quick commercial break? How many people agree with Dennis then? Because now, do you know what's happening now? We're getting people from all nationalities calling us in, including Dennis, saying, actually, they do chastise or hit their kids in a certain way. But how many people will agree with Dennis? He's saying it's worked for him. 6797 FM104 is our phone number.
Chris Perry on the FM104 Phone Show. The man who gets Dublin talking. Miss him. Miss out. FM104.
Welcome back to you. 6797 FM104 is our phone number. 53104 for 20 cent. Now, I tell you what's happening now. There are so many people calling us in because initially it was all politically correct because last week we were told you can't hit kids anymore, and I'm not saying that's a very good idea, and it is in an ideal world. And then when we turn around and say to you, well, look at your parents that you had in the 1980s and 1990s. You still love them. They're very good parents. You can't say that they went mad. They didn't. That's what they knew. The same way, Dennis, you're saying this is what your dad did when you were a kid.
Yeah.
And how bad did you get that your dad had to hit you?
If you're doing too wrong, like if you go fighting outside.
Yeah.
In my home, you dare not go out and hit other kids or fight other kids or hit someone outside. And they come home and report you. Just know you're finished.
Okay, hang on a second. The African way is, let me see, as he put it, it's different culture, folks. There's other nationalities calling us in, and they think very different to us. So open your mind. But there's a lot of people reacting, by the way, about social media, saying, "Oh God, no, we'd never hit our kids." One girl has been on to us, Chris. It was touchy, but you hit the nail on the head. The ones who turn around and says they don't hit the kids, they actually do, but they never admit it in public ever. Because it's just not politically correct. But you see, there's hitting children and slapping them. Just a little slap, fine. We're not talking of, totally OTT. But you're not allowed to do it anymore. Tom is on line 2. Tom, how are you?
All right, now get arrested, you know that?
This guy, Dennis.
Yeah, that's a reference that. It's only abuse.
You should arrest those parents that let their kids do whatever they want.
I have kids.
Parents that allow their kids to slap them. Parents that allow their kids to throw things at them. Parents that allow their kids to wreck the supermarket. That's shy. That's shy parent. That's shy parenting. If you allow your child to wreck a supermarket, why are you standing there saying it's okay, talking to your child like a reverend? Then you are just as crazy as that baby, as stupid as that child.
So, Dennis, you think that people are, when you see this, you must see what I see, and we all see it, the kids going mad or whatever. You would be, as a father, Dennis, would you'd be ashamed of that?
I'll be ashamed of their parents. I'll think their parents are stupid.
So, Tom, I don't know if you've got kids, but
Hold on, listen, I have 2 kids.
Yeah.
Destroy your kids with your hand.
No way am I hit my kids like what he does. I might punish them by taking their laptops or their iPads, and when I take that stuff off them, they know what they done wrong. No way do I come along and get a stick and hit them across the arse or across the...
I got a bat or a whip.
That's what he said. A whip? Did you say whip, Dennis?
I got a bat, like my own bat. Like,
yeah.
I use a bat to whip them. Simple.
You use what to whip them?
A bat, like a bat I use for my shoulder or for, you know. I just get you get
a belt. Sorry.
My child never hung out with other kids causing trouble outside at midnight. My child never go taking drugs. I have a boy of 14. I have a daughter of 15. They don't misbehave outside.
How do they react when?
They never misbehave. They are the best in class. That the teachers talk well about them. Whenever they go, they talk well about them. That's what I want to know. I don't want to have a child that misbehaves, that insult adults outside. That's ground people. That's ground people.
If you beat the fellas there, your kids for no reason, you know what? You should be arrested.
There are people on the street. My child will not do that.
The kids should be cooked.
I know where my child is every day.
Tom is saying the kids. Hang on, Tom is saying the kids should be taken off you, Dennis.
They should be taken. Oh, what about those kids that are on the street, that are misbehaving on the street, that pour things drinks on elderly people on the street? They should not be taken off their parents. And let me tell you, a child that's supposed to be taken off the parents is that child that throws tantrum at the supermarket, wrecking supermarket.
Your children are naughty if you're not disciplining them a correct way without having to hit them or beat them with any weapons. Your children aren't animals. You're not training animals.
My kids are well behaved. They will never insult an adult outside.
They're only well behaved out of fear. Do you not want to?
Yeah, that's what it is. People want to be politically correct, but they are suffering inside. I have a neighbor very close to me. They keep calling the guy for a child. You call a guy for your child. You call a guy for your child. That's bullshit.
You get 3 years for abusing a child like that.
The guy that resources to call a child for a child. I can't deal with my child. Please.
Hang on. One at a time. Dennis, do you think, even though the laws changed since last week, do you think as a father, and you are the father of 2 kids, it is your right, because the law is one thing, but no one's going to see what you do in your home, and there are a lot of people who just don't like the government interfering with in what they do or don't do. The majority of people calling us in who did slap their kids. There's a big difference now. A little slap, but there's a big difference in a slap and what you're doing, Dennis. You've a belt and you're hitting them.
Yeah, I just let me see your hand, stretch out your hand and give you 6. Depending on what you do.
Okay, if they're really bad, if they're really, really bad.
Yeah, you get straight 6 in your hand.
And you do it with a lot of force.
If I'm beating a little child, like a 6-year-old child in the hand, I'm not going to use every force in my bone.
But it'll be strong enough.
No, it's like sensible beating. I won't just
sensible beating.
It's really hard, but if you hit a 6-year-old child with a bed, if you apply a little bit of force,
a belt, yeah, that's right.
It will hurt a child. You understand?
But a belt hurts, though, Dennis. It does.
Yeah. It will hurt them. But
because most people, if half an hour ago, were talking about a little tap on the knee, but this is a whole new level. You're using a belt.
Yeah, you can use a belt, right? I do use it, but I won't lie to you, right?
And you're going...
My kids are the best kids ever in the area. I live in the area what you call the disadvantaged area.
Yeah.
But you will never see my kids with other kids doing shit outside.
So you're how do you find...
Kids rallying cars everywhere, snatching cars from people. But you will never see my kids among those kids.
So do you think that a lot of Irish kids are just out of control and they have no discipline at all?
Let me tell you what happened in this country. The kids in this country control their parents.
Right.
They tell their parents what is supposed to go on in their own home. How will it... I can't really believe this.
And you've seen this. You obviously have seen this happen, near where you live. I'm just wondering, all right, let's not be politically correct. Is Dennis right in anything he's saying, folks? Because
the area I live is a really disadvantaged area, I understand. Kids smashing cars, burning cars up, breaking into people's houses. You never see my boys doing that.
And your boys, and you reckon...
Kids carrying guns around. You never see my boys doing that.
Hang on a second, stay with us, because, all right, there are some people agree with him, by the way. His methods, though, it's again, it's what his dad did to him, and that's where we learn all these things, I suppose, good, bad, or indifferent. But this is a whole new ball game. This is the ball game. This isn't a slap on the knee. This is using a belt on a 14-year-old. 6797 FM104 is our phone number. And Dennis, you feel this is your right as a father?
It's better for me to discipline my child right in my house than for the government to discipline that child for me in prison. I never allow any of my child to go to prison.
Okay. Mark, what do you reckon, his logic?
Well, I tell you what, Dennis, you're going to end up in an early grave, or your kids are going to end up in prison because
my dad never end up in my early grave.
Shut up and listen.
Dennis, let him make his point first.
You are beating your kids, okay? And all they're going to know is, okay, well, somebody's done something wrong, let's hit them. That's exactly what you're showing them.
Okay, my kids never go out and fight anyone.
No, but they don't need to. But if somebody does something on them, they're going to say, well, if I do something wrong with my dad, he hits me with a belt. And what are they going to do? They're going to hit somebody else with a belt.
I have a 14-year-old boy that never go out and fight.
It doesn't matter. It's mental torture.
How are you going to hit someone now? He's never go out and fight anyone. The dad never come to look for him. The dad coming looking for kids, rallying cars around. My kids the guy never look for them.
They're children. It's mental torture. If you're worried about the area you live in, move out of the area you're living in.
He's not worried.
I was once 14 years old. I was once 6 years old. I was once 12 years old. And today, this is who I am. I never raise up my hand and hit my wife. My wife is from this country. I never hear her.
How does your wife, actually, hang on a sec, Mark, how does your wife feel? You say your wife is from this country, so different culture, different way of doing things. Yeah. You have your way, she has her. When she said, did she ever say anything to you like, maybe don't hit the kids, or did you ever have that discussion?
She see all her other of her mates, their kids, they are going to St. Parks.
Yeah.
Some of them, they are 18, they're in prison now.
Right.
And none of our kids is there. They are all happy. They are in school, the teacher praise them. In their club, the coach praise them. They are well behaved outside. What are you talking about? You want to compare them with those shit kids that rally cars, that snatch cars, that burn down cars in the area, that is going around with a gun, threatening people, breaking into old people's house, giving them sleepless nights.
What area are you talking about?
That's bullshit.
What area are you talking about?
I don't want to mention the area. I know it's a disadvantaged area. You know the area where those disadvantaged area.
No, just because you mentioned that, I'm sure they're very good parents in a disadvantaged area as well.
Where do you live?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't want to say.
All right,
I'm telling you, it's a disadvantaged area. It's an area where people burn down cars, rally cars. The guys knows that. Come chasing chasing kids around every day.
Okay, hang on a sec, Dennis. 53104 for 20 cents. There's Dennis, his way. There's a lot of people agreeing with Dennis. These are a lot of African guys are calling us in, saying, you don't understand, that is the culture, Chris. That is what his dad did to him. That is what they do to an extent to their own kids here. And, you know, different nationalities, different cultures, different ways. You may not agree with it. The government doesn't agree, but there you go. I know we went from tapping a child to this, but PJ, you agree, kind of. Why?
I agree because the kids today are very bold.
They are, PJ. So does that mean you...
kids or any kids I meet that hassle me like that, I'd beat them to a pulp.
Why?
Yeah, how old are you?
Why?
I'm 63 years of age.
63, PJ, yeah, exactly.
63.
And you beat them to a pulp?
I was brought up right at home. I was told right from wrong, but the parents of some of
Well, you obviously weren't doing very well if you beat kids to a pulp.
No, you see, you're as bad as some of the other people. You have to beat them to learn them to behave themselves.
With the priest.
What?
That's it, beat the shit out of them. They don't do what they're told, beat the shit out of them.
You're a sick man, you are. You shouldn't have kids because you're a sick man.
You're a scumbag, PJ.
How many kids did you have, PJ?
Fucking junkie.
What they're told.
You're a junkie, you are.
That's right.
You can hear it in your fucking voice. You're a sick man.
Oh, yeah, very sick. Yeah, very sick to listen to what you're saying.
The kids today should be beat to a pulp.
Why? Tell me why, PJ. Why?
from wrong when they won't fucking listen.
So, did you ever beat them when they didn't listen to you?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I have met a few of them around town, and when they went at me, I laid into them. And they weren't my kids at all. And another thing...
You beat someone else's kid?
Will you listen to me first?
And we are listening to you.
What I would do with them kids, I don't call them kids, I call them scum. Now, you have to catch them, and if you've got a dog shite on the ground, rub it into their face until you put manners in them.
So you would... What did you have any kids of your own?
I have 2 kids of my own, and they're well brought up.
And would you hit them if they got out of line when they were kids?
If they got out of line, if they were over 15, I'm talking about it. Not,
right.
Not young, under. They have to have sense.
So when they were... All right, when your kids were in their teenage years and they got out of line, did you give them a good wallop?
Yes, I did, but I smacked them a little bit to put manners on them and told them right from wrong. But you see, most of the parents today...
Would you use what Dennis uses, a belt?
Well, I would have crossed the arse and that, but not into the mouth now.
All right, so but what happens if they said it really hurt them?
Well, if it hurts them, they want to be bold again.
And when you're told what you're doing...
The next time, and they have to get extra the next time, more.
What do you mean extra? If they did the same thing again.
Harder the next time.
So if they did the same thing twice, you'd hit them harder and more the next time.
Until they learn how to behave themselves.
Now, if people said that you were a savage for behaving like that, what would you say?
I'd say them people shouldn't have kids because they're not able to control them. Look at the way they're running all the streets, robbing people and everything. Well, I'd have them in the way they do nothing like that. There's no right from wrong.
Do you still see your kids?
Oh, of course I do.
Well, do you see them over Christmas?
They're with me.
Oh, they're with you. Oh, sorry, they're with you. Okay. Yeah. So, have they ever said to you, Dad, you hit us too hard and we didn't like it?
Yeah, well, they never really said that because they stopped doing bad things when I told them. But you see, some of these kids, they're bowel and the parents are worse because they're junkies or they're something like that. Drunks, you see them in the pub all the day long.
So, all right, so you agree with what Dennis is doing there. If you saw...
As I told you, not into the mouth.
No, he didn't hit them in the mouth.
Across the... Oh, I thought he did because...
No, he didn't.
I can't start to understand him, really. You know, I thought he hit him into the mouth. No, I wouldn't have crossed the arse and the legs and that.
And you're saying this worked for you? It actually worked?
It works.
And when people say you can't do it, you're not supposed to do it, they brought in the law last week where it's illegal for you to do it.
The law is a load of shite.
You have no right to do it at all.
The law is a load of shite, it is.
And you hang on a second, let me go to Teresa.
Yeah, hiya, Chris.
You listen to PJ there and he says he pulverises them, as he put it.
Yeah, well, somebody ought to pulverise him because he's an absolute disgrace. He shouldn't be getting airtime.
I know, it's a free country, free speech.
I understand that, Chris, and he has a right to his opinion.
And you can challenge the opinion.
Yeah, and I still challenge his opinion. I mean, who pulverises their kids?
Is he, PJ, you're in your 60s now. You keep saying, PJ, it worked for you.
What?
Sorry?
You keep saying you're in your 60s now, and you agree with Dennis. You're saying the way you beat the kids, it worked for you.
You have to make them learn right from wrong. But you see that woman there?
I do, yeah.
She is not able to control her kids at all. She'd let them run. They'll end up robbing all around them.
Excuse me.
Are they on drugs at the moment or that?
If you just shut up and listen for a minute, PJ.
Yeah, you see, that's the age you have to shut up.
I'm closer to 60 than I am to 50. I've reared 5 children.
Yeah.
Not one of them has ever brought the police to my door. They don't do drugs. They're not pushers. They're not alcoholics. They're all raising their own children now, bar one, because she's mentally disabled.
Yeah.
And the rest of them are rearing their own children now, and they don't feel any need to slap them either.
Yeah, well, they were good kids.
They are good kids, but I didn't pulverise them.
What I'm saying is, the kids that don't listen to their parents have to be made listen to them. That's what I'm talking about. Not good kids now.
Hang on. Let me go to Paul as well. Paul, you're there. Is PJ from the old stock?
He's from the old stock. I mean, I'm 37 years old. This guy, I mean, beating a child, I mean, just because he won't do what they're told. Did you ever hear the old saying, violence breeds violence?
Mm-hmm. I mean, we're talking levels of violence here that, if you're getting a belt and whacking them, I'm sorry, that's a weapon. I'll tell you what, I'll come back to you in a second if I can. Sorry. Teresa, you were, there's a lot of people reacting. I'm going to read this out to you. Dennis, can you hear me?
I can hear you, right?
Okay, I just want to read this out to you if that's okay. 53104 for 27 by the way. 6797 FM104 is the phone number. Chris, I work in a creche. There's an African boy, 3 years old, with old and fresh whip marks across his bum and arms. What the hell could a 3-year-old child do that's so bad to deserve this kind of punishment? I can't come on air as we have reported the case to the HSC. And the case is wide open. This particular family have moved their children to so many different creches in the area that there's been questions about the obviously the lad's wounds. The African way is so wrong. The child only behaves for the parents, and their behaviour is no better or worse than any other children in the creche. When the parents are not about, it doesn't work. Okay, that's an extreme version, but a lot of people are saying, all right, they'll behave in front of you, Dennis, but that's it. When they go out,
my child, they behave outside the way they would behave at home. I said their teacher praise them. They're the best in school, in their result, in their behavior. My kids, my boys, they play football, they play GA. They're the best. The coach praise them. They don't misbehave. They don't talk anyhow. They don't insult their elders. They know who to respect.
But the reason, you see, some people might say to you, as PJ has there, the reason they're behaving is because if you do hit them with a belt, they fear you. They're afraid of you.
You're not afraid of me. We still I still sit down with them. We play games, play computer games, we play football. I give them time to talk. They bring out their opinion. If we have anything going on at home, we want to discuss it. I listen to them. I'm not an authoritarian. Authoritative. I'm an authoritarian. Like I let you bring out your opinion. I listen to you and I give you my own opinion. I only give them a smack if they really misbehave. I'm very, very bold.
And you're saying what you see locally with the Irish kids who are born, some of the kids, you really think they're so badly behaved that you see a lot of them getting into trouble?
My wife have a relative, a daughter. She's just 15. The police is looking for her everywhere because of her misbehavior. The other of her boys misbehaving. She's fed up. A lot of people in the area we are living, the area we are living, their kids misbehave a lot. They keep throwing bottles at people walking at night, going out. Oh, you never seen my kids doing that. They always saying, I know where they are.
Okay, hold on a sec. A lot of people agreeing with. Yes, sorry, Paul. You wanted to have a word with PJ as well. Go ahead.
I just wanted to know, was he born in the Stone Age? I mean, beating kids up just because they're misbehaving. I've got a 4-year-old child.
You fucking idiot, you. Hello?
Why is he an idiot, PJ? You haven't even heard what the man is saying.
He'd have no control at all over these kids. Listen here to me before I go, because I have to go. I remember I was coming up O'Connell Street one evening, and there was these two young fellas lighting a man in the door, trying to lighten thing on him, right? On his sleeping bag. And I told them, leave him alone. And they were about 16 years of age, and they told me to fuck off, right?
Yeah, well, maybe
I rang the police, right? And the police came out and gave out to me for telling them to stop burning that man in the door. Well, the policeman should have got a kick right up in the fucking hole. If I had him away from a camera, I'll tell you, I would have left that copper in a bad way.
So are you a violent man then, PJ?
I'm not a violent man, but
you see, your answer to most things is beat the crap out of people, including adults.
Sorry. I'm raging over the way that they're treating some of them young fellas. Now, I'm talking about 15 onwards. That should be beat until they fucking go down on their knees and say, I won't do it again.
You idiot.
Right, I have to go. Sorry, bye.
Yeah, goodbye, you fool.
Obviously, I think he's got issues, not just with kids, with adults as well, by the sound of it, Paul. Incredible stuff. We'll come back to... Dennis is saying the African way works. Now, what he made an observation, a lot of you reacted to it as well. And Dennis, you're talking of you live, and your words, in a disadvantaged area, and you see some of the other local kids misbehaving so badly because there's no discipline at all.
The area I live, crime at first hand. That's the area. There's crime at the first time. You see crime, they commit crime, you can't even say a word. When you see kids committing crime, moving drugs around, moving guns around, you can't say a word.
I'd love to know what area it is. We'll find out during the break. 6797 FM104 is our phone number. 53104 for 20 cents. We're back in a moment.
Chris Perry on the FM104 Phone Show. The man who gets Dublin talking. Miss him. Miss out. FM104.
Welcome back to you. 6797 FM104 is our phone number. 53104 for 20 cents is the text. This all happened. We were just talking about what happened last week and the idea of kids behaving badly, and as we all see it in supermarkets, a little tap on the knee, and it is now escalated because you heard what Peter is saying. You also heard what Dennis is saying. A lot of people agreeing with Dennis. Paul is on line 3. Paul, you kind of agree with him, do you not? Richie is on line 3. Richie, how are you?
Hi, Chris. How are you?
Not bad. What do you... Dennis's way of doing things, it's his culture. It works for him. It worked for his dad. What do you reckon?
Sorry, I've never been on the radio before. I'm just going on 40.
Right.
I left home when I was 17. Now, I would have been on the receiving end of it from my mother for years.
Your mother?
Yeah, from my mother. I know. Even, look, it took me, I was probably in my mid-20s before I even spoke to my own friends about it.
Right.
And, you know, and there was always the kind of the shock, your mother, you know, because it's normally the dad that would be, say, a bit, give you the slap or whatever. Now, I left when I was 17, and if I didn't literally leave home and go, I was going to go another way. And I had tried it.
What? All right, so you're saying you would... Well, how bad? Just give us...
I had tried suicide 3 times.
So how often did she beat you?
I wouldn't say it would have went a week past. At one stage I got 12 stitches in my arm. She just swung with a knife. Just pure rage, temper. And I had to cover it up when the father came home, say it just happened at school.
How old were you when this was happening, by the way?
How far back can I remember? I'd be...
In your teens?
I'd probably remember back as far when I was probably about 9, 10. I don't remember much of my childhood prior to that.
But I mean, a lot of people listening now would think, well, if she's going at you with a knife and you ended up in hospital, it's not a case. This is nothing to do with slapping somebody on the knee. The woman was a psychopath.
Yeah, that was it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, but that's she's way off the scale. She's mentally ill if she's hurting you. I mean, she needs to be put in jail. I mean, anyone like that needs to be put in jail quickly.
It's probably one of the main reasons I've actually rang, because I've never actually spoke openly outside of probably friends and family would know, all right.
Did you ever speak to her about it?
I have said it to her, was it Stevens' night, probably, I think I was a bit 23, 24.
Right.
I went over to their house and just went for a few drinks with the father down to the pub, and it was only a couple, and my mother followed down and went back up to the house. And she was just rabbiting away about when I was younger, and I just asked her a straight question in front of the father, and it was only myself, the father and the mother sitting there, says, why'd you do it? And she just said, well, my father did it to me.
Yeah, but come on, she brought it to a whole new level when she was coming at you with a knife and you're only a boy.
Well, that was just once.
But
once, especially this time of year, it would always come at me, because I remember one year when I was a kid, we were out the back and she asked me to hold the Christmas tree because she wanted to make the end of it smaller so it would fit in the stand with the axe. and she missed the bottom of the tree or something. She said I let the tree slip, and she just swung with the axe and hit me in the back of the head with the back of the axe. I remember I ran through the porch of the house and I ran out onto the green, and she just dragged me back in.
I hate to say it, she sounded like a monster.
Yeah, well, that's kind of, when I hear someone on like that, and this slapping with belts and stuff like that. Like, I have a 3-year-old, I wouldn't lay a hand on them. Now, equally, yeah, if a child is wrong, they have to know right from wrong. But you don't have to slap them.
Okay, I think to be fair, what Dennis was saying was completely different. I appreciate what you're saying, but Jesus, I mean, what you went through, that woman. I mean, she's still alive, by the way, Richie.
She is, unfortunately, yeah.
And
I know it's such a harsh thing to say, but unfortunately, yeah, I told her once before, if she goes before I go, I definitely won't be at her funeral, and if I was to go before she goes, it'd probably be my wife would know, and probably be 2 or 3 close friends would know that, if I was to go before she goes, she could never come to my funeral, never.
So I can't really blame you for hating her.
And
human nature being what it is. I mean,
equally, it's an awful thing to hate somebody.
It is, but you've good reason for someone who's an adult who took advantage of you. I mean, it wasn't just a slap on the knee. I mean, we were dealing with people earlier on there was thousands of parents in the 80s and 90s. They slapped the kids on the back of the knee, whatever. They didn't come at them with an axe and a knife. That's not normal. That is not normal. Did she apologise? Not that it meant much, did she?
Never. But the really annoying thing is, and I can genuinely say it, I am 40, and you'd be the first one when you get older, you'll say if you're wrong. I was genuinely a good kid. I went to school, came home from school, I wasn't allowed out. Very rarely you saw your friends. It wasn't that I was off, say, jumping out the window and causing trouble and coming home all the time. If you said anything to your father, it was worse to follow him even when he came home. And he knew. Mm-hmm. She was from a family of 10. They all knew. All her brothers and sisters, they all knew.
But I mean, I'm just trying to think now. You're a 9-year-old boy. Your mother is, hitting you, with the side of an axe, or going at you with a knife, or beating you anyway on a weekly basis. Did anyone turn around, within the family and said she's mentally ill? There is something wrong with this woman.
No, everyone just kind of threw a blind eye. Even if you go and play football, could be togging out, especially in secondary school, and
the bruises everywhere.
Yeah, I remember a couple of times, I won't say the teacher's name now, but he passed the comment a couple of times, and she told me he just fell across the fence. And I was from Lucan, and there wasn't that many fences with barbed wire and that around.
Jesus, I mean, going to what you're saying, she's still alive now. Do you talk to this woman?
No, it was my brother's wedding there last month, and it was outside the country, and I told the brother she was going, myself and the wife and son, we weren't going to go. I gave him an ultimatum, and it wasn't fair on him, to have to do that. But there was no way we were going to go, because she was at my little fella's christening, and that's the last time she.
Was that hard when she was at your little fella's christening?
Well, to be honest, she was at our wedding, and my father gave me an ultimatum on that. Either if she doesn't go, he's not going to go, and I get on well with my father. Mm. So. I said, okay, grand. I said, look, if she causes any trouble or there's a word, she's out the door. That's it. So we rearranged the wedding, so we didn't have any parents at the top table because I wouldn't be able to stomach it.
Not surprised.
My wife's parents suffered because of that. Then, so in fairness, there wasn't a peep over at the wedding. Can't say there was, there wasn't.
But I understand when you just turn around and said, well, if she died, on Christmas Day, you'd be delighted.
Yeah, but little fella's christening came around there just now. Well, he's 3 now, so it was whenever it was time for the christening, and it never entered my head, never, that she caused a scene or anything. And Mass was over, and we brought everybody for dinner, and dinner was over, and I was sitting there feeding them, and she came over, and she just says, your wife wouldn't let me hold Cameron. And I said, I don't know. I said, I was sitting at one table. Cameron's not well. I said, he's sick all day. I said, I don't know. I said. So with that, my wife just came over, and my mother just stood up, and she just took into her. And it was probably one of the most embarrassing days of my life. Like, speaking about this is easy. That was just...
Yeah, I get you. I think a lot of people, and especially this time of year, as you well know, families, God, you pick your friends, you can't pick your family. And
and look, when you get a little older and you do talk to people, look, a lot of families have stories, and you know, not all families are perfect, but like,
but what she did to you, and let's be straight about it, was unforgivable.
I'll tell you,
it really was unforgivable.
And I be 40, and you know, I was speaking to someone on you recently about it, and I was saying, like, I shouldn't actually be speaking about it. I'm 40. It shouldn't even be coming into my head anymore. Probably what really bugs me is that the woman is not accountable.
She doesn't seem to care that much, does she?
No, but just not accountable.
No, she's not.
Like, I wouldn't know where to start. To maybe that woman to be accountable, to go in front of a judge or something. Not that I'm achieving anything, but the only thing I would actually achieve if she was actually found guilty of what she's done over the years.
No,
like, it destroyed my teenage years. Absolutely destroyed them.
But the thing is, the reason you're talking about it now, because it still bothers you. It hasn't been put to rest.
Absolutely. I'd always listen to you now if I was coming home late from work and that, and there's nothing I heard people talking about it now. Okay, look, a child's roaring and screaming. Yeah, okay, maybe it's by child.
But what your mum did to you, and she knows she did wrong, she doesn't seem to be sorry about it, but would you would you like to take her to court?
She would never admit it. Never. You could sit her in front of her whole family and they'd all say, well, we've seen you do it. She'd still deny it. She'd deny it straight to your face.
So she lives in denial.
And my father left her there earlier this year. But he said he was on a bit of the receiving end of it.
You've just described a psychopath perfectly to me. You actually have.
But equally, like, I know a lot of people still in Lucan. I don't live in Lucan anymore. And you'd be on them and like they'd all say, oh, your mother is lovely, and
oh yeah,
that's nicer person you couldn't meet.
Yeah, that's classic. Absolutely, she'll charm everyone, and people will say, "Oh my God, she could never do that to her own flesh and blood," but clearly has and does. I mean, so Christmas, I doubt if you're seeing her at Christmas, are you?
No. I think I'll just enjoy my own family life.
Well, we hope you have a superb Christmas. Listen, thanks, Richie, for sharing that one with us. If anybody can help him out, actually, because he obviously needs a bit of closure on that, what should he do? Clearly wants to do something. The woman has to be accountable. His mother beating him senseless. And it's not just hitting, it's like using an axe, using a knife, bruises that people saw when he was a kid. That's something else. And this happened to him, I'd say, his teenage years between 9 and 12, he mentioned. And she just denies it. Jesus, what a woman. How she can live with herself is beyond me, but there you go. Madam, if you are listening, you should be bloody ashamed of yourself. You really should. And I can understand when he turned around and said, well, if you died at Christmas Day, he wouldn't really give a damn. And I can understand exactly how the poor guy feels, but there you go. 6797 FM104 is our phone number. 53104 we got to push on. There's a lot of stuff we have to squeeze in, and yes, we'll have another family issue in a few moments.
Chris Parry on the FM104 Phone Show. The man who gets Dublin talking. Miss him. Miss out. FM104.
Yeah, just in case you weren't paying attention. 53104 for 20 cents. 6797 FM104 is our phone number. Here's another text coming into us. 53104 for 27. Chris, can't talk on the radio. I'm 50, 4 sons, 2 daughters in the family. To this day, have flashbacks with the rows with my mother. Her always in the right. They never admit anything. Or the word sorry never exists. Won't expect guys, partners, wooden spoons, thrashing with the youngers, he said. All sons got the same treatment. Father worked very long hours. She ruled the roost, and let me see, won't visit, and certainly won't be visiting on Christmas Day. There you go. So, actually, that's one of the few times, first time I think, in my recollection anyway, that we've dealt with that, where somebody was beaten senseless by their mother. But you heard what that guy was saying. It wasn't just a little slap on the knee. I mean, coming at you with a knife and axe, and then beating you black and blue. I mean, that is something. That woman is a psychopath. She, you know, as somebody used to say to me years ago, that woman needs putting away. And you can hear what the guy said. He does want something done about it. So if you have any suggestions, we'd love to hear it. 6797 FM104 is our phone number. 53104 for 20 cent. Now, remember I told you, other family items coming up now. You're going to love this one. Can you bring this up in your show? Now, I'd say this is going to happen quite a lot over Christmas, because remember during the recession, a lot of thousands of Dubliners went over to Australia. And now they're coming home. Some of them are coming home for 3 weeks for Christmas. Well, Chris, my brother is due to fly home for Christmas. He's actually only in London for the first time in a couple of years. At first I was delighted, but it seems he's coming home for one specific reason. My dad is quite ill, and there's a fair chance that this will be his last Christmas, actually, Chris. My brother is planning to tell him not only is he gay, but he's been married to a guy for the past 2 years. I've known for quite a while, but my dad hasn't a clue. I think it's totally unnecessary. My dad is quite religious, you know, the old stock. It would actually break his heart. I think my dad deserves to pass away thinking his son is like the rest of his children instead of causing him heartbreak. I've said this to my brother, but he doesn't care. He said he wants the weight lifted off his shoulders, but I think he's being incredibly selfish. Am I right to be so upset about it? Now, that is a hell of a dilemma. That really is a hell of a dilemma to get yourself in. Is the brother right to tell his sick father that he's gay, and not just gay, but also he's married to the guy for 2 years? Now, you see, if you're reading between the lines here, I think the dad is in his 80s. Not well, they don't expect him to last more than 9 months and that some of the family are saying, just leave him be. You know, there's no point saying it to him. He comes from a different era. There was no point doing it. But this guy is saying, no, he wants the weight lifted off his shoulder and he wants to tell the world, including his dad. Is the brother right to tell his sick dad of his situation? Are there some things better left unsaid? Or maybe the father will accept his son anyway. Going on what they're saying here, he won't. They absolutely, old style, will not do it. Not going to happen. 6797 FM104 is our phone number. 53104 for 20 cent. Let me go to Nigel on the phone as well. Is he right to do it, or do you think the son is asking too much? The dad's in his 80s now, Nigel.
He's pathetic.
80 years old. He's coming home for Christmas, and he's been with this guy for 2 years. I think it was either the marriage or the partnership. But anyway, the father has no idea, and he's very ill.
Well, the son is pathetic.
Why is he pathetic?
He's an absolutely pathetic homosexual that unfortunately this country has actually voted for gay marriage, and 40% of people don't believe in it.
Yeah, but this guy, it's you know, Christmas is all about families, and you celebrate your family. This is part of his family. His dad looks like is very ill, won't last till next Christmas. He wants to come home and said, Dad, not only is he gay, but here's his husband.
Well, the point is here, like Chris, like people don't actually admit when they're heterosexual to their parents.
If that was your kid, all right, just say you were in your 80s, okay,
Chris,
and you're ill.
Chris, like, let's walk here for a second. Children don't admit to their parents that they're heterosexual.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Children don't admit to their parents that they're heterosexual, so why should they admit to their parents that they're homosexuals?
So you're saying he should just let sleeping dogs lie, say nothing, just let his dad die peacefully, and he'd be none the wiser. Say absolutely nothing.
The point I'm making on the show is that this country has voted in for homosexual marriage. So therefore, they're supposed to be equal citizens. So therefore, if they are equal citizens, they shouldn't be admitting that they're homosexuals.
Why?
Why?
Because the heterosexual people don't admit that they're heterosexual. I have a son, and I don't expect him to tell me when he gets a bit older, by the way, Dad, I'm a heterosexual.
Okay, so all right, hang on a second. So are you saying that this guy, he's coming over at Christmas? A lot of people do a lot of strange things at Christmas. Christmas is one of the times where people get engaged, they announce marriages, etc., etc., etc. He's going to go in and said, by the way, Dad, we've been married for 2 years. This is Johnny, my new husband. And the family are saying, Jesus, don't do that. The dad's in his 80s, he'll kill him. So what you're saying, you wouldn't tolerate it anyway.
Chris, can I say this? Can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Chris, there was this man, and he's in the Late Late Show, and he's from some ghetto in Tala, and he's about 22 or 3, and he was interviewed on the Late Late Show admitting that he's a homosexual. Now, what's that got to do with anything?
Possibly nothing.
Exactly. He's actually admits he's a homosexual because he wants more viewers on the show.
What is he?
I have no idea. Anyway, Fiona, there you go. Situation. A lot of people are saying this is an absolute disgrace. You should keep it quiet. You'll kill the father.
Listen, this secret is probably killing that poor chap for the last few years.
But he's married. Not alone that, he's married as well. He's done the 360 on this.
Can you imagine what his partner feels? He's not even accepted. Do you know what I mean? And why shouldn't he tell his father? Why shouldn't he?
All right, well, I tell you why. This is what they said in the mail to us. Let me see. My brother is planning to tell him not only he's gay, but he's married to the guy for the past 2 years. I've known for quite some time. My dad hasn't a clue. The dad is about 85. But the dad is ill. They don't expect the dad to last.
Listen, let me tell you something. You think his father and his mother don't know? You think they don't know? Of course they bloody know. They've known for years. No girlfriends. Sure, of course they know. My own son is gay. I knew when he was 3 or 4 he was gay. And as for the other idiot on there about homosexuals, if someone asks me my sexuality, and people do ask, I would say I'm straight. I don't know where this gobshite's going with being heterosexual and
But Nigel, you think it's very selfish of the son to tell the father this?
Personally speaking, I think it's very selfish of any child to tell their parents what sexuality they are.
Even if they're gay?
No, Chris, the point here is that homosexuals are allowed to get married. They are supposed to be equal citizens. Now, if a kid is 15 or 16 or 17, I don't want to know if my kid is heterosexual or homosexual. It's nothing to do with me as a person.
All right, if you found out. By the way, happy Christmas. There's your present, this is Johnny. We got married 2 years ago. We thought we'd come over to Christmas and celebrate with you. How do you buy that? Because obviously, you know, a lot of people have news when they're coming home from Australia and America and England and everything else. He might share that bit of news with you. How do you take that news, Nigel?
Me, personally speaking, that wouldn't bother me in the least.
Wouldn't bother you in the least?
In the least. It wouldn't bother me in the least. I wouldn't care if that's what he wants to do. If that what keeps him happy, that's fine. But a man at 80 years of age, maybe he wants the man to die a week before he should die.
All right, then we're all confused. 53104 for 20 cents. 6797 FM104 is our phone number. He also said he was very selfish. Terry is on line 1. Terry, are they being terribly cruel to a dying man?
Hi, Chris. I'd like, first of all, to take the opportunity to just say to the public, hi, it's Terry with an I, and a very happy Christmas to you all.
Here we
now,
go.
This has to have been, obviously, the worst subject you could pick on this week. That chap is not far enough away in Australia, in my estimation. But the topic is the topic we're dealing with. He belongs to the Pink Brigade. Now, he's going to come home, terrorise that man, and tell him on his deathbed, I am not a man. But I'm not just not a man and wear pink. I'm married to the fairy on the Christmas tree.
You're a fucking idiot, Terry, you know that.
No, listen here. You got your teeth done a while ago because I can hear it in your voice lots of times. You talk about your son. Your son is a girl.
My son is no girl, let me tell you.
Yeah, he is. He's 17 or 18 and he's a little girl.
He's not a little girl. He's a lot older actually now, Terry.
Well, he may be, well, put it this way, he may be old, but he's an old woman. He belongs to the pink. He is belong to the Fairy Brigade.
You know what, Terry? I really hope and pray that one of your children come in and tell you they're gay.
My son is a man.
Excuse me.
My son is a man.
They do not pick whether they're gay or straight. They are born that way.
Fiona.
They are born that way.
Fiona.
Do you think that I made my son gay? Do you?
Well, I haven't. I don't know. He just decided to be that way. It's as simple as this. On Friday, we will celebrate the birth of a man, not a woman.
And who said it was a man? It's only in the Bible. It's only a story.
He's the most important man in the world, apart from Santa.
You are the most bigoted person I have ever listened to. You're an idiot. You don't have an ounce of Christianity in you. Not
you must
an
be
ounce.
Joking to you. I will be down there on Christmas Eve.
Not an ounce of Christianity in you. There is no forgiveness. There's no leeway with you. Yes, no, it's all straight down the road. You're a horrible individual. Horrible.
Squeaky voices. And they wear pink. Some of them don't wash themselves. They possibly smell. And they sleep with men.
So what if they sleep with men? They wouldn't want to be sleeping with you. So I
wouldn't let one of them near my house. Listen, they wouldn't be allowed to near where I live.
You would know some of them are gay, let me tell you. You wouldn't even know some of them are gay.
Okay, hold on. Let me go to Kim as well, if you can make any sense of that. 6797 FM104 is our phone number. 53104 for 20. Said, okay, we're getting a load of stories into us. This is not the only story. There's 3 so far with a similar story, and the parents have no idea. Because you know when they say to the parents, I'm bringing, someone, my partner or someone else is coming home for Christmas as a surprise, and the mother's going mad. Getting the bedroom ready, etc., etc., etc. But some of the dads do not know. They're going to know, let me tell you. 53104 for 20 cent. We'll go to Kim. Hello, Kim. How are you?
Hiya, how are you?
Not bad, not bad. There you go.
Just say, that Terry one is an arsehole. Excuse my...
No. I'm a lovely person. And I'm...
Friends, let me tell you here and now, right, Mrs. Shut your mouth, right?
No, I won't.
That young
it's Christmas week.
To come home and tell his ma and dad anything, no matter if his dad's on his deathbed, right? My parents always told me, right? They always said, no matter what it is, never be afraid to come home and tell us anything. And I appreciate my parents for that.
Now wait, I tell you first. Can you hear me?
On his deathbed.
Can you hear me?
Live with that for the rest
she can. She's talking.
Can you hear me?
She can, but she's talking, Terry.
It is not your ma and dad. It is your mother and your father, or mammy and daddy, not ma and dad.
Oh, come here, you. Will you shut up, will you? Where did they get you from? The back alley of La La Land. You are an Egypt. You are a menace to society. People like you should be hung by their fannies. You're a doorboard. You're a doorboard. You're a lowlife. That's what you are. Epoxy lowlife. A lowlife. No matter where you're from, what you are, male, female, hermaphrodite, whatever you are part of society, and you should be able to tell your parents whatever you want to tell your parents, no matter if they're on their deathbed, no matter if they were only born yesterday. Just tell your man and dad whatever you want to tell your man and dad. You should be feeling
think like me. Think like Nigel.
You should feel
Nigel and I think on the same hymn.
Your parents anything. Your parents were obviously 2 arseholes.
You must be joking. I did lovely mother and dad.
Tell your parents anything. You are a menace to society, Mrs. Lottie Daw, Mrs. Nesbitt there, sitting there. Your house is probably full of queers, little do you know.
No. You want to even see the job he has, my son.
Your son?
And it's not a pink. There's not a dot of pink in my house. Not a dot. Auntie doesn't speak squeaky.
Excuse me. Your own shite doesn't smell, does it?
No. I have normal bowels.
I wouldn't say it does. You are an arsehole, let me tell you. And I'm sure there are many that would agree with me.
Yeah. I'm sure there are quite a few, but there you go. What would you do in this situation, folks? A lot of people, seriously, with very similar stories calling us in, because Fiona, let's be honest, Christmas brings out the best, the worst. I mean, I know we laugh about EastEnders on Christmas Day, saying there's a lot of drama at home too with various families, because you know, when people haven't seen each other for a year, they've a lot to get off their chest.
I never ever have drama in my house. I'm sure there's plenty in Terry's, you know. But
God, yeah.
Certainly there doesn't be drama in mine. My son certainly doesn't speak with a squeaky voice. He's certainly, hygiene is very good. But, I mean, Terry seems to think she's above everybody else. And at the end of the day, if you're gay or straight or you're Hermaphrodite, as that girl said, who cares? You should welcome everybody. This is the spirit of Christmas.
Even though the dad, it looks like the dad is 80, you know, he's 85, he's on his last legs.
Listen, my granddad was in his 80s when I told my own granddad my son was gay. It wasn't even a shock to him. Because his own brother, back in the day, years ago, was gay. Which was a big no-no. He'd leave the country back in those times. And it wasn't a big deal.
I feel sorry for you.
Sorry?
I feel sorry for you.
Listen, you keep your sorrow for yourself.
No, I really do. Seriously,
before you're finished in this world, you're going to be a very bitter and twisted. Fur coat, no knickers. That's what you remind me of. You're an absolute uneducated twist. That's all you are. With your mommy and your daddy. You're
neutral to your information.
You're an asshole, and
you knew, and that child was 3.
A clue.
That child was 3, and you knew. Was he walking funny? Had he a squeak? Had he a pink soother? You knew. You made him that way.
So she made him that way.
No, I never.
Your son gay?
No, I never.
You knew when he was 3 the way he walked.
You were born gay, you uneducated fool.
You just said you knew at 3 you wanted a gay boy.
I knew by my son that he was gay.
That's very hurtful on your son. Do you know that?
No, not at all.
That's very hurtful. You wanted a little girl and you turned him gay.
You know what, Terry? You haven't a clue. You live in a little tower. In this tower and this bubble, and you have no idea of the reality of the world. You think you're a perfect little world sitting there in your little caption. Will you stay in that and fuck off somewhere else and annoy somebody else?
Not at all. Listen, Terry, you wanted a little girl.
You're an idiot, Terry.
You wanted a little girl and you need a little boy.
I never wanted a girl. And anyone that knows me will tell you I never wanted a girl. I always wanted boys. And I got a boy, and he is...
You got a boy that was a girl?
No, it's a girl. He's not a girl.
A boy that was a girl, and squeaky voices and all those.
Exchange, and he doesn't have a squeaky voice. Let me tell you. No, but you have a fucking squeaky voice. Maybe you've something to tell us, Terry, have you?
What did you just say about that?
I said he doesn't have a squeaky voice.
Okay, I'll just read some of the reaction coming into us. 53104 for 20 cents. 6797 FM104 is our number. We're going to take some votes on this as well, because every single family is different, and you know, it's like politics. Let's be honest. And this girl is a bit upset. The brother is due to fly in for Christmas for the first time in a couple of years, and at first I was delighted, but it seems he's coming in for one specific reason. My dad is quite ill, and there's a fair chance it'll be the last Christmas. My brother is planning to tell him not only is he gay, but he also has been married for the past 2 years. I've known for a while, but the dad hasn't a clue. I think it's totally unnecessary. My dad is quite religious, and it'll break his heart to hear this. I think my dad deserves to pass away thinking his son is like the rest of his children instead of causing him heartbreak. I've said it to my brother, but he doesn't care. He said it's a weight he wants lifted from his shoulders, but I think he's being incredibly selfish. Am I right to be so upset by this? I mean, just think of it logically. Not like Terry, but logically. 6797 FM104 is our phone number. Is the brother right to tell his sick father that he is gay? I mean, you know, are some things left better unsaid? Or maybe the father would accept his son anyway. What do you feel? We're going to take some views on this. 53104 for 20 cent is the text on that. 6797 FM104 is our phone number. Maybe we could have some sensible conversation, please. Not that bloody circus act that we just heard for the past 5 minutes. But Fiona, listening to, I'm looking at some of the stuff coming in, and you're right. There are people who are in this situation. Everybody is very different. There are some very conservative people out there. It's just a fact of life.
I agree, and I probably wouldn't be overly conservative. I believe in live and let live, and that's the way I see life. That's
you, which is great. That's you. But what do you say? There's I'm looking at some of the other stuff coming in now, where they're talking about sodomites now. That's how bad the text messaging has got.
Why should this guy continuously live this secret? He's been living this secret for maybe 20 or 30 years. I don't know how old he is. Why? And I can imagine living with a secret like that for a long time. It must be ripping the soul out of him. And he wants to introduce his partner to his family as his partner, not as his friend or his flatmate. Why should he have to hide the fact that he's married to somebody? Whether it be male or female.
For the simple reason that they realise, all right, not everyone's the same, not everyone's going to think like you. There are people who are, set in their ways, they're 80 plus, they were brought up in a different time and era. This guy'd probably freak. And they also said he's very religious. And when people say, look, that's just the way he is, you cannot change somebody. It's just the way they are.
This time and era, it's been going on for years.
I know, but they don't want to accept that into his own family.
Well, I'm sorry, this is how he feels. He wants it out in the open, and he's entitled to have it out in the open. Why should he not be as celebrated or as looked upon as his son?
He's 80. The dad's 85. Okay, 85. Which, and he's 85 and ill. So other members of the family are saying, "Look, we're with you. You're grand with the marriage and your gay thing and your partner. That's all grand." This guy was very religious. He's your dad. Time has moved on. You're absolutely right. But if you realise, and I think we all do, Jesus, someone's really religious. You don't want to upset their apple cart either, do you?
Well, I'm going to tell you a story now, right, about something with me. It's just a little bit, but I want to tell you how I felt about something. Something happened to me, as I told you before, when I was a child.
Right.
I was asked to keep it under the carpet until the day my grandfather died, right?
Okay.
And on that set day, the things would be dealt with in the family. But my father happened to die, which he was an arsehole anyway, but he happened to die before my grandfather. Those things were never dealt with. And you can imagine how invalidated I feel because I was brushed under the carpet. That's how I'm sure this guy is feeling. He's been brushed under the carpet. And I can empathise with how he's feeling. And he wants his validation. Why shouldn't he have it?
Okay, let me read a text that just came in to us. 53104 for 20 cents. Chris, 2 questions for the gay guy. I'm not homophobic, but my questions are: 1, why hasn't he told his father now and before now? Understandable if he couldn't find the moment or the courage. 2, if his father wasn't sick, would he be jumping on a plane to tell him then? Probably not. Basically, unfortunately, as he's never seized the opportunity to relieve the weight off his shoulders before now, it's too late and he's missed the boat. To tell his father now would be disgusting and bad timing. There you go. The guys, you should have told him a long time ago, your dad's too sick now.
Maybe he was afraid of him.
Could have been that, yeah.
Yeah, maybe he was afraid of him. Maybe he was afraid of the rejection. He knows his dad is dying. He can't really be, if he's going to die in the next couple of months. So be
okay, hang on. Let me go to Michael is online too. Michael, you're live at FM104. What about that? One of the text messages saying he's missed the boat on this one.
Yeah, I don't know how you're doing, Chris. I don't think that he's missed the boat at all. In fact, I think it's quite selfish of the sister. And if you take kind of the man's age and that he's on his deathbed and take all of that out of the equation.
Yeah,
I'm not a parent.
But it's kind of in the equation too. You know what I mean?
No, but if you hear me out for a second, I'm not a parent myself. But I would have thought that every parent's dream going to their deathbed is to make sure that their kids are happy and that their kids have found a mate in their life that they're going to live the rest of their life out with, whether that's a man or whether that's a woman. Now, I would have thought that it's actually extremely selfish of the sister to not allow her father go to his deathbed and possibly die if he doesn't see another Christmas, knowing that all of his children are happy, all of his children have found who they want to spend the rest of their life with, and let that man go to his deathbed with contentment about his children. Regardless of his religion, regardless of his age, just let him go to his deathbed with contentment about his children.
Okay, there you go. Is that a little more sensible, Fiona?
Yeah, absolutely. It's validation for the guy. It's validation as well for, let the dad die in peace. Do you know what I mean? And he's right in what he's saying. I mean, I know he's 80 and I'm a different year than an 80-year-old. But it's exactly what Michael has said.
I mean, sorry, Chris. I mean, the thing is, I know the man is 85, and I know he comes from a completely different generation. And unfortunately, there was that guy that was on the phone earlier on that he was claiming that straight people don't have to verify that they're straight. So why do gay people have to verify that they're gay all the time? And in some respect, I kind of agree with him, but we're not at that point in society yet where gay people don't have to verify that they're gay yet, and straight people don't have to verify that they're straight. We're not there. Please God, in a couple of years' time, we'll get to that point where people don't have to verify, or they're not that's not their life. Do you know what I mean? It's not what all people need to know. But we're not there yet, and unfortunately, people do at this point have to let people know, especially if they have chosen a lifestyle that is classified as away from the norm, and they do have to tell their parents. And I told my parents when I was quite young that I was gay. It wasn't for them, it was for me. Would I do it differently? Probably would. But, I understand what Fiona's saying as far as validation is concerned, but I'm actually not thinking about it from the chap's point of view. I'm thinking about it from the father's point of view. As a father, wouldn't he like to know that his son was happy and that his son had found somebody?
You can understand why some, when you get to know dads, granddads, whatever, and you realise, well, Jesus, they're living in a cave. Don't upset their little life in the cave, because you're not going to change somebody, and you shouldn't expect to.
Yeah, and it is. Unfortunately, it's something that we have to accept, that there is people living that are a part of a different generation, and that's fine, and they have to be given a little bit of leeway. Do you know what I mean? Because they come from a different generation, and I'm okay with that.
Because you probably heard the phrase, when somebody's chatting away to us, Jesus, she doesn't mean it, she doesn't know what she's talking about. And she probably doesn't. It was like, I remember everyone was laughing here when I told them. There was this woman that we used to know around Christmas time, and she'd actually say, without meaning to offend anyone, how was your bastard child?
Yeah. Exactly.
And to her, that's just the term that she used. Everyone, you could hear glasses dropping when she said it. Exactly. But that's just the way she is.
It's a completely different generation. They have to be given that little bit of leeway. But I'm only speaking from. I'll talk about my own father if you want. Here we go. He wouldn't be 100% on the lifestyle choice that I have chosen. By the way, my brother is gay as well, so he has chosen the same lifestyle. And he would be 100%, but I 100% know that if I was to meet somebody tomorrow and I was to get married, that he would be delighted for me, because he knows that
your happiness is more important. Because
my happiness is much more important to him.
And you know as well as I do, I'm just looking at some of the text messages coming in, there's lots of stories which mums and dads are going to hear over Christmas, because there's lots of sons and daughters coming over for Christmas, and usually there's a few little surprises, Michael.
Yeah, I came out over Christmas.
When did you do it? Last year, was it?
No, God, no. Jesus, it was years ago, but it was over the
And what was it like? Why did you pick Christmas?
I don't know why. It was just, I don't know why I picked it. It was something had happened, and it was just time. It was time to tell my mum.
So when? Was it Christmas Day, Stephen's Day, when?
No, actually, it was the 29th of December.
29th of December. How did, you kind of know the reaction you're going to get because you know the people. You hope. And then, were you surprised at some people's reaction?
Was I surprised at some people's reaction? Yeah, I was surprised. I was surprised by the fact that I came out on the 29th, and literally probably about 4 days later, my mum was stopped while she was walking through the local town saying, "I heard about your son." I was surprised at kind of that, and it kind of took my mum back a little bit because she had to kind of deal with people's reactions to me, and although...
So everyone else was having a judge, jury and executioner moment, were they?
Yeah, but even then it was back in the day. I mean, that's like maybe 16, 17 years ago now, do you know what I mean? So, I mean, even then,
Yeah, but come on, you can imagine somebody who's 85, very conservative, and don't forget, 40% of people didn't vote for gay marriage. There is that 40%. So you can turn around and say, well, they have their views and they're perfectly entitled to it. I know, the thing was carried, fair enough. But if somebody's really conservative, that's just the way they are, and they might react badly to it.
Well, I mean, my view on it is I don't expect anybody to change their views to suit me, because I'm not going to change mine to suit anybody
And you
else.
Can't change who you are anyway. That's just a matter of fact.
Well, I mean, if you have a conservative view and you have a view on me and my lifestyle, and you don't think that my lifestyle should be taking place or I shouldn't be taking place, that's your view. It's not going to change it. It's not going to change my lifestyle, nor is it going to change me. And you're opinion, and that's absolutely fine. What you have to remember is people that have that conservative opinion, whether they're 85 or whether they're 35, they are the minority, and they will eventually be wheedled out all together. Do you know what I mean? They're going to be gone eventually.
Okay, hang on a second. 53104 for 20 cents. What would you do? There are a lot of people saying to us, all right, I mean, that text, a lot of people agreeing with the text, and I'm not homophobic, but my questions are: one, why hasn't he told his father before now? Understandable if he couldn't find the moment or the courage. Two, if the father wasn't sick, would he be jumping on a plane to tell him? Then probably not. Basically, unfortunately, he's never seized the opportunity to relieve the weight off his shoulders before, so telling him now would be a bit cruel. Emma, you agree with that text? It's a little bit cruel to say it, why hasn't he done all this before?
Absolutely.
Is he jumping on a bandwagon? The guy's 85.
The best outcome is if the father disowns him, Chris.
Why? Why disown him?
Why? Because it is the most atrocious, selfish thing that guy is coming in to do. That guy is terminally ill. He's very, very religious. He's extremely old. Clearly is not...
He's not well. He's dying. Yeah,
absolutely. And this son is coming home just so he can feel good about himself. He is not thinking about his father, who has spent 85 years, his religion has been pretty much exactly like loads of people that age. And I would disagree with what that guy is saying, that you're going to weasel them out. Like, there's a lot of people that still...
But I think Michael was saying in a nice way, that generation will die off.
Well, it won't die off, because there's many people that are young, Chris, and have that opinion. Me being one of them.
So sorry, Emma. So you mean that your age? I'm presuming you're young.
Yes.
You're saying that you're always going to hold a view in your life that homosexuality and gay people shouldn't exist and shouldn't have
it exists, but I think it's wrong, absolutely. And
how about the marriage and all that coming? Coming home on Christmas Day saying, not alone, having been away for 2 years, here's the husband.
So selfish, and it's so typical of a gay to do that, make it all about himself. When his father is dying, his family is absolutely distraught.
Jesus, most people when they get married will tell somebody.
Yeah, exactly. So the fact that he kept it from them, but now all of a sudden his father's dying and he's coming home, shoving it in the face. This family is distraught. He's off in Australia, wherever he is. But to come
you don't know,
like this,
you don't know, Emma, that you don't know in what type of situation he's going to let that father know. You don't know if he's going to be shoving it in his face.
It doesn't matter. It's a total
you don't know what way that's going to be put to him. And I understand what people are saying.
It's so typical for a gay to make a spectacle out of this. It's just so typical. I wouldn't expect anything less. But what I do hope is that father, that poor man, 85-year-old that's dying on his bed, will just turn his back on him and say, you're no longer my son, you're no longer my child. I just hope, because I just feel like the fact that he's...
So what's that going to achieve? What's that going to achieve?
What it's going to achieve is that son that has travelled all the way, it hasn't come home in a few years, am I right? Is that what the email said?
Yep.
Hasn't come home in a few years, decides to come home when that father's dying and throws this at him. What that achieves is, because that guy is... the only reason why he's coming home is so that he can feel...
The only reason... Well, he's coming home for Christmas, as a lot of people are. He has his partner. They got married. He's going to... he just wants to tell the dad the whole thing. And because the dad is ill, you're saying this man... All right, the dad is very conservative. He's extremely religious. And you're thinking this is the cruelest thing the son can possibly do to the dad, Emma. That's what you're saying to me.
So cruel. If he really wanted his father to know this, if he really wanted his father to, be happy for him, he would have told him before he got married. You would have told him, listen,
Do you know, you may not like this. I'm looking at the text messages coming in, and some people, all right, it's way up there, turn around and said to us, tell the father if he doesn't like it, tough.
No. Why though? That father has lived his life in one way.
Well, why live a lie? Why live a lie?
Why live a lie? Well, then why is that guy... that guy is living a lie. He was over there...
Possibly because of attitudes like yours. We'll come back after the break. 6797 FM104 is the phone number. What would you do if that was your dad? He's 85, very religious, very conservative. All right, the son is now coming home with the gay partner. They're married, and Dad didn't know. That is also quite ill. That seems to be the family problem there. 6797 FM104 is our phone number. 53104 for 20 cents.
Chris Ferry on the FM104 Phone Show. The man who gets Dublin talking. Miss him. Miss out. FM104.
Welcome back to you. 6797 FM104 is our phone number. 53104 for 20 cents. A lot of people onto us saying, all right, this is a serious dilemma. The brother is due to fly in for Christmas for the first time in a couple of years. First, I was delighted that he's coming home for one specific reason. My dad is quite ill, and there's a fair chance it'll probably be his last Christmas. My brother's planning to tell him not only is he gay, but he's been married for 2 years. The dad is quite very religious and very conservative, and they fear it'll break his heart. And in other words, I think this is what my dad deserves, to pass away thinking his son is like the rest of his children and instead of causing him heartbreak. Now, is that good enough? How many of you agree with that? 53104 for 20 cents. 6797 FM104 is a phone number. What's the kindest thing to do there? Seriously, that was your dad. And come on, some we all know some of their families very religious and whatever, and they're very, very conservative. And this is what Lisa, what would you say? Because we all know someone who's very set in their ways, and that's it. They don't want to know.
Hiya, Chris.
How are you?
No, Chris, I think the man is absolutely right to come home and say how he feels. Obviously, he has stuff that he needs to deal with himself, and
yeah, he's happy. He's in a new relationship. He's married. There's a lot to tell.
Why should he pretend to be something he's not? Obviously, the chap has been forced into it. There's obviously religious connotations there, where the chap has been forced to go to the other side of the world and pretend he's something he's not all his life because of the religious element in the family. So maybe he feels now that because the father is dying, that this is his only opportunity to say who he really is. Why should he hide himself?
Oh, let me read some of the stuff that's coming in. What should he really do? Just give us your whatever the first thing that comes into your mind. 53104 for 20 cents. What do you think he should do? Here's one, Lisa. Let the man die in peace. He doesn't have to know. He'll turn in his grave.
Well, that's his own problem. It's his own prejudice.
So would you say tough?
Yeah, absolute tough shit, Chris, is what I say to that. No one should have to hide themselves to accommodate ignorance.
Here's another one. Maybe the father always knew his son was gay but didn't bond with him. Now the son, knowing his father is dying, is only coming home with his partner to piss off his dad. That's from John in Blanchardstown.
Well, good enough for him if he was put through the mill for being who he is. Fair play to him. That he has the bravery. That takes an awful lot of courage to come over and face up. I
completely agree, Lisa.
Okay.
Absolutely, yes.
Hang on, Emma, you think, and there's a lot of people agreeing with Emma, that this is a really cruel thing to do.
Realistically, though, if he's coming home to tell his dad, his dad could be his dad is dying. We all know that, but if he's coming home, it is a big risk for him to take, because he could he's always
this could end in tears.
Yeah, he's risking rejection from his dad as well. So I wouldn't like to be in his situation and to know that my dad could die, and for me to have to live with that secret then, that I couldn't tell him. As much as my dad might reject me when I do tell him, but I wouldn't like for him to die and for me to be thinking, geez, I never told him that I was gay. That would really, it would really eat you. What I mean?
But he's not just saying he's gay. He said, he's gay, but here's the husband.
Yeah, but
so, if you're dealing with somebody 85 and they're religious, they're going to get.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what I mean by it's a big risk. He doesn't want for his dad to die and for him to, have this secret, not telling his dad, and he knows that he's going to risk, he is
essentially he probably is going to get rejected by his dad. But it's a big risk to take. I think it is a really confident move from him. Like, I wouldn't be like, you know, one that's real like for or against the kind of gender equality. Like,
Here's another one. Here's another one. Leave well enough alone. It's only common sense. Dublin is, well, we see, all right, they're giving out yards about some of these people here. All right, there's another one. Emma, common sense. Leave it alone. Say nothing to the dad. Let it be. Tell the rest of the family and just say nothing to the dad.
I think the majority of people are going with the right way here. They're saying that the guy, there's no need to tell this man. There is no need to come home. Stay in Australia, do whatever you're doing. You haven't bothered to come home in the past few years. Why bother come home now where that man... Because
he's married. He's set, you know, he's in a relationship for 2 years. I mean, do you know something? There are a lot of people calling in and saying, you're one Emma, what is it? You're in your 20s. You sound like you're 190, born 2 centuries ago, as conservative and as vile as ever. I mean, even at Christmas time, you can't be happy for this guy.
No, exactly. Like, he needs to come and see his family. For Chris.
Chris. He needs to come home and see his family, does he? What stopped him all the other years?
Hang on.
While he was off.
Would Emma have the same opinion if he had got married over in Australia to a woman?
To come home? Well, first of all, I would have hoped that he would have told his family in that sense.
Okay, so say for instance, for the last 2 years he happened to lose contact with his parents. And just hadn't had any contact with them, but had met a woman over in Australia and had married her, and was deciding to come home now for Christmas and introduce his wife to his dying father. Would it be an issue then?
No, take everything into consideration. This 85-year-old man is extremely religious, clearly going to be homophobic. So obviously it wouldn't be the same situation.
Okay, but my point is, people have to stop trying to make the decision for this man. Let the man make the decision for himself.
This man is bringing home another man. This is going to destroy this father's life. And
but the outlet is dying anyway, Emma. So what's the difference?
It's so selfish and it's so typical.
So let him die knowing a lie. Is that what you're saying?
Let him die. Absolutely.
No. Why should he, Chris?
Why?
Emma, the man is dying anyway, right? First of all. Second of all, why should that chap hide who he is? And you sound like a nun.
Yes, you do, actually. Yeah.
I sound like a nun.
You do, a little bit. You're in your... I just can't believe you're a young woman in your 20s and you're saying, oh my God, no, you're being so cruel to this man.
Just because I'm not 85 does not mean that I cannot have an opinion.
Yeah, but your opinion is that it's fucking...
Of the last century.
Archaic, Emma.
It's get a grip. There's many more people like me like this. It's just that
your opinion is archaic. It's so old, it's not even funny, and it doesn't represent the age that you are.
Because there's so many of you type of people running around screaming and shouting from the rooftops. Are
you religious, Emma, yourself?
Am I what?
Are you religious?
God, I doubt it.
I would be. No, what I would say is I would be against the gays. I just wouldn't.
In what sense? In what sense?
What is it about the gays that you are against, Emma?
I feel that they're looking for drama exactly in this situation.
Okay, so do you realise by making a statement like that how much of a generalisation that is?
So all gays are drama queens, is that what you're saying?
It's like he's looking for a spectacle. He's looking for a show.
No, he's not. He's coming home to see his family and he's wondering...
He's not taking an ad out in the newspaper, Emma. He's coming home to his house to his father.
Doing it. Why?
If you're not going to tell your dad, who are you going to tell?
It's so dramatic getting married.
No, it's not dramatic, Emma. Emma, do you know what I think the chap might be doing? I'd say Chris, that outfit put that chap through the mill growing up because he knew he was gay, and that's why the fella had to fuck off to Australia out of the place altogether. And I'm telling you now, there's probably an undertone here of that fella saying, payback, good luck, let him go to his grave knowing that I was gay and fuck him.
He's doing it because he was...
Well, I mean, I have to say, like, I would hate to think that he was coming... I would hate to think that he was coming home for revenge, because that would be the wrong reason.
Yeah, there's nothing positive in that at all.
Coming home with badness...
Punished all his life for being what he is. This stupid attitude in this country of people dragged up, looking at priests standing on altars, right? Most of them who are raping kids anyway.
Not most of them.
Preaching. Come here, don't even go there with me, you, right, about priests, right? Hang on a fucking minute, right? There's enough records there proving what they were doing to little boys. So don't even go there, right? They're standing on the fucking altar on a Sunday, hang on a minute, you, right? They're standing up on an altar telling people what to do, right? And telling us not to have sex, not to wank, not to do nothing, don't look, don't touch, don't do nothing, right? Then mass is over, go on off and be a good boy and be a good girl, while I go around and get a blowjob off an altar boy. Don't fucking go there with me with them. That's what they wear.
It doesn't happen now, and
it does happen now. Don't be so ignorant. Do not be, and I too think you're a nun or something. If you're saying that doesn't happen now, don't even go there with me,
after
right?
jumping on this gay bandwagon, and yous are just out for revenge now against the Catholic Church.
It's not about revenge. It's the truth.
There's nobody out for
every gay, and someone that knows a gay is out to get the Catholic Church now. That's exactly
okay. Hold on. Let me read some of the text messages coming in. 53104 for 27. Chris, he should keep his mouth shut. He's only home to ease his conscience and tell his dirty little secret. He's the only one going to hurt anybody here. He's a self-centred little pea. That's from Keith. Tell Emma she needs to cop on and shut the F up and join the 21st century. I'm not homophobic at all, but I don't think the man should tell his religious dying dad. See, a lot of people are saying, fair enough, do whatever you want, get married, have your gay partner, have your wedding, do it. But if the guy is 85, maybe it's not the most sensible idea. But I gotta say, so far, 53104 for 20 cent. Is the son being selfish by bringing the gay partner home? And it's not just a partner, they're married, and the dad had no idea about this. You reckon, Michael, you see a load of people are texting in now saying, fine, have the marriage, tell all the family, but maybe just ignore the dad for a while because he just can't handle it.
But what about if he just came home and there wasn't this big announcement? What about if he had just gone away to Australia and he was still in really good contact with his father, and he met this guy, and he suddenly came out when he was in Australia and just brought home this partner and didn't make this big announcement? What would be
Sorry, hang on, Chris, I'm getting really frustrated. Can I just ask, Michael, are you representing the gay community yourself?
I am, yeah.
Right. Michael, please explain to me why you're speaking, right? And with the greatest respect, right? With the absolute greatest respect, I'm asking you this. Why are you speaking in this apologetic manner, right, for this man? And why should he hide his dirty little secret? Why do you think that way, Michael?
I'm not expecting him to hide his secret at all, and I'm not speaking in an apologetic manner. What I am trying to do is look at both sides of the story, and I have already said that actually what we need to think about it from the father's point of view, and the fact that he might want to know what his son has been up to. Everybody's trying to make the decision. The daughter is trying to make the decision. Everybody's coming on the radio trying to make the decision for this father, saying it's disgusting and he shouldn't do it. Let the man make the decision himself. Let the son tell his father, and let the father make the decision himself. And if it turns out that the son is rejected, well then so be it. He has made his point and he has said what he had to say. What I disagree was what we were speaking about earlier on, was if he was coming home from a revengeful point of view.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
To stick it into the father's face. That I'm not into, because at the end of the day, I can't understand why people have the view this 85-year-old man is dying. But this 85-year-old man is a father, regardless of whether he's religious, regardless of whether he's dying, he's a father.
He must have had some bond with his son, at some stage. Hang on a sec. 5-3. Just give us a text on that. Just give us your honest. Is it a selfish thing to do and come home and tell the father that or not? 53104 for 20 cents. 6797 FM104 is our phone number. We're just a bit stuck in time. Craig is also on the line. Craig, you're live on FM104. How are you?
Hiya, how you doing?
Not bad. You're a little bit upset at who?
Emma, really. Branding gay people as drama queens.
Yeah, Emma, you did say that.
Absolutely.
You said this guy was deliberately coming home just looking for the drama like all gays, which Michael did say to you was a bit of a wide sweeping statement.
It is. It's them in a nutshell, so I'm not apologising for it.
Well, me and my partner, we're both a gay couple, and we're as straight acting and non-drama queen as you can get. So how do you come across that?
And that's like saying all blonde girls are bimbos. That's ridiculous. That's not.
Yeah.
No, do you know what? Exactly.
It's the most stupidest comment you could ever make. It just shows how narrow-minded you are.
So you think what he's doing is not traumatic whatsoever?
No, but my dad, when I came out as gay, broke down thinking that he ruined my life because I hid it from him.
There you go.
How would he feel?
That's probably not a reaction you expected, Craig, was it?
Knowing that. No, my dad would be My dad would be distraught if I never told him. He'd be so upset.
Well, that's your dad.
Yeah.
That's not everyone's dad.
No, but you're making that decision for this guy, saying that his dad wouldn't want him to tell him.
Some fathers are going to be ashamed, though. And
Why would they be ashamed of their son?
You have to, because they're not. It's not that they didn't. They brought them up thinking, okay, this guy is going to be normal, but he's not normal.
Normal?
Normal.
What are you on about normal?
What is normal? You don't sound normal.
He's not.
So Emma, what about if you made a lifestyle choice and that was away from the norm or not normal, as you said?
A lifestyle choice is to not eat, like, you know, fast food. That's a lifestyle choice, not to just choose that you're gay or whatever else. That's just ridiculous.
Your ignorance is absolutely unbelievable. It's shocking.
Emma,
and I don't believe your age.
Emma, do you want children?
Do I want children?
Would you like children?
It doesn't bother me. If
your child, girl or boy, came home to you and told you they were a lesbian or they were gay? What would you do to them?
I would be so ashamed. I would be distraught and I would turn my back on my child.
Oh, well, that's
everything about you. Narrow-minded, small-minded individual. That's what you are. You would turn your back on your child.
Absolutely.
That says everything.
That is not. You're not meant to be gay. You're not meant to be like that.
Okay, so Emma, here's a question for you. Here's a question for you, Emma. Why do you deserve to be happier in your life than I deserve to be happier in mine?
It's not that you deserve to be happier. I just mean that guy that's coming over here to do that to his father.
Okay, so why does he
feels?
deserve?
Hold on.
Okay.
He feels that he needs to come home so he can be happier. He is not thinking about his father, who raised him for quite possibly 18 years.
Okay.
Put food on the table for him.
What that chap was saying, just like what that chap was saying, maybe it would make that man happier to know how his life is.
What I'm saying is, at 85 years of age, and as Chris has said in the email, he's extremely religious. I would assume that he's not going to be too happy.
Well, that's an assumption.
Okay, well, that's absolutely fine. But I mean, what I'm saying is, in Ireland... So
you're trying to speak for the man. What we're trying to do is give you another... Like, at the end of the day, can you not see it from our point of view that maybe that man wants to know that his son is happy?
No, what I can see is that the majority of you are dramatic. You're doing it for one reason, only. It's to make an absolute show.
Emma, honestly,
drama queen.
Do you realise?
Drama queen, you are.
Well, let me. I want to read some of the other text messages coming into us. 53104 for 27. This is aimed at Craig, I think, and Michael. Chris, it's a tonic listening to that young girl. She's not afraid to speak her mind. We are not allowed to say anything about the gays. There you go, Craig.
Say stuff about the gays. It's fine. If you have a problem with gay people, it's fine. But don't stop another family, or don't try and prevent someone from
happiness.
Potentially doing something, being happy. Yeah.
Exactly, and I mean, as I said at the beginning...
Jesus, Emma, I hate to be in your house on Christmas Day. It'd be like worse than EastEnders.
People are afraid at my age to speak out because they feel, oh, you should be 85, you should be, you know, exactly what Michael said earlier. You know, all these people are going
Well, hang on. I think what the two lads were trying to say to you there, okay, it's, fair enough. The guy's 85, I get that. As Lisa was saying, well, you know, he may react quite well to it. You never know. If you have a son, you have at some stage bonded with your son. You have feelings for your son. You want it, and if you realise you're dying, you've only a few months left, you're going to need to have a conversation with your father, and perhaps that's why the son is coming over to say, here's my partner, we've been married, Dad, and they can all have a conversation. They might have a very good Christmas. But your idea is, let's be negative, let's stick our head in the sand, let's pretend it doesn't happen, and your other reaction is, oh, he's very conservative. You can be conservative and still have feelings for your son.
Okay, that's fine. If that's what you feel, well, then that's perfectly okay. What I'm saying is, if I was the 85-year-old man, I would turn my back on him. I would not want him at my...
How is that going to help? All right, your idea, your logic is you throw your back on someone. What prehistoric age were you born in, woman?
I wasn't. That's the thing. All of you think...
You seriously are. All right, answer logically. By you turning your back on someone, how is that going to make a situation better?
It doesn't have to make a situation better.
So your idea is to
better about himself.
So
go back to Australia.
So all right.
For all I care.
All right, Craig, can you ungay yourself all of a sudden? No, you can't.
No,
it's not going to happen.
It's not a lifestyle choice. It's not a decision you make.
And you have a partner. You have a partner as it is.
I've been with my partner for a long time.
There you go.
It's been the happiest I've ever been.
So Emma, he can't change what he is. So because you feel that you wouldn't tolerate it, that doesn't mean Craig can simply say to you, well, I tell you what I'll do, Emma, to keep you happy and keep all the other family members happy who have their head stuck in a cave somewhere, I'll get rid of him and pretend I'm straight. How about that?
Chris, do it in private if that's what needs to be. Just don't. There's no need for it.
Need for what, love? For what?
Just being like that. Just
being like what?
Being out there.
Spit it out and say how you feel. Being like what?
It just is vile.
What's vile? What is vile? Now, come on, I want you to tell me. Get it off your chest tonight. What is vile? What's annoying you? What's the bit that really gets your goat? Because you've obviously always wanted to say it, so spit it out.
Skin crawling thing I have ever seen. Just two men. There's no need. It's not right.
No need for what, love? For what?
What do you mean for what?
For what? What are you getting at?
There's no need for it. It's
for what? No need for it. What is it?
To be gay. There's no need for it. Go away. Go behind closed doors. Do what you have to.
Why do what behind closed doors?
Whatever they do, be gay.
Maybe you should keep your fucking opinion behind closed doors.
That's the thing. People are afraid now to come out and say what they want.
No, they're not afraid.
No one's afraid to speak their mind. I mean, if anybody has any objection, they will phone in and have.
Chris, how many more people are on here saying what I'm saying? But I'm telling you, a lot of people are listening on the radio agreeing with me. A lot of people are.
But you see, all right, they may agree with you for different reasons. I've asked you several times, what is it? What are they doing? What's Craig doing that bothers you? He's had a relationship for years. Where has he gone wrong there?
It's not. Where has he gone wrong?
Yeah.
Being gay, that's where he's gone wrong.
So his orientation is wrong?
Absolutely.
So what?
Right.
All right, so what should he say? All right, he's straight. Should he lie to you?
That would make me very happy.
And then you'd be a hypocrite. Then you'd be an absolute... So you'd rather go back to the old days of let's lie to everybody, hide their sexuality, and then you'd feel better. But would it kind of says more about you than it does about Craig, though, doesn't it?
If that's what you believe, that's fine.
But just follow the logic here. Follow the logic. But there's dark ages on this, Jesus.
Belongs back in the dark ages, really, to be fair.
It infuriates me that's what people say, and it's the gays that say it as well. Why?
Anybody with an ounce of sense will say it.
Chris, can I just put a bit of history for this girl?
Go on, yeah.
In ancient Roman times, gay was men and men used to have fun with each other before Christianity come along and changed it, putting it as a paganism act. So gays have been around for a heck of a long time, thousands and thousands of years ago.
And even Jesus was gay, and you know that.
Jesus was gay.
Do you not what?
Hold on a second. Hang on. 47% of the country agree with Emma, who voted for 47. I think it was 40 something. Anyway, but they may. All right. They for a lot. You know, they disagreed with the marriage bit, but they didn't disagree to the point where they tell people go back into your closet and stay there and come back when you're straight. Grand. That's going to work really well, isn't it?
People are afraid to speak out now because they have the gays crying all over the TV.
You're confusing your own little brain there, Emma. What you're thinking is that 47% of people agree with you. They don't agree with you and your homophobic attitude.
People like you and people like Craig and Michael and whatever else they are afraid of people like me who's young and have this opinion. They feel like that opinion should be solely for people who are above a certain age. But guess what? Get over it. If that's the opinion that I have...
There's lots of mums and dads actually calling us in who have gay sons and daughters who are in relationships, so obviously they wouldn't share your opinion there. I thought the whole idea of all this logically was to be happy. You know, if you love somebody and you get married, great, wonderful. You know that's the whole positive thing here, rather than sort of as Emma's suggesting, go back into your cave and say nothing. Honest to God. Let me see. Fair play to Emma. I'm 40. I have the same opinion. Saw two men kissing the other day. I nearly got sick. I agree with everything Emma is saying. One gay said it's a lifestyle choice. What is it? It's not at all in the last 30 minutes. I don't know what that means. Sharon is on the phone as well. Sharon, how are you?
Hello.
How are you? Go ahead.
Well, hello. I just want to say, see that girl Emma?
Yes.
Right. I'm a 60-year-old woman, and I'm listening to that
20-something-year-old woman.
I'm a 60-year-old woman.
Right.
I'm 60, and I'm listening to that voice of that Emma one, probably for the last 4 months. And I just want to tell her she's a parasite. I have to say it.
A parasite?
Yes, she's nothing. See her. See that girl, for what she does, gets on that phone every night and degrade everybody, and she thinks with it. See that little weasel voice? Emma, shut up. See that little weasel voice out of you? You'd be better off if God took you. because there's nothing in your brain and there's nothing anywhere in your head. You're an empty sack. And how dare you have anything to say about anyone? You know what? You'd have something to say about a box of chocolate. You're that thick, Emma. There's nothing in you. You have nothing in you whatsoever. You're a parasite. And how dare you? You know nothing about that guy coming home. You know nothing about his father. Whether his father is 81, so what?
Hold on a
Get
minute.
over it. And if his father is dying, so what? You know nothing about nobody. You're just a little parasite. And you need to crawl under a rock, Emma. Because you're a disgrace. I don't know what you are, and you know what's wrong with you, Emma. You don't know whether you're right or wrong. You know nothing.
I know that I'm right.
You're not right. See even your opinion. You're just a little weasel. I can just imagine you. You're a weasel, Emma. You're nothing. You're a piece of crawl under your rock, Emma, and grow up. And you know what? Maybe do you know what you're probably doing? You probably get off for it, just sitting in there, giving out every night you're on the radio. Would you ever get a life? And you don't even know what life is about. You're a weasel, Emma. And how dare you have any opinions on gays? When I tell you, if you think you know anything about life, go back to the Bulges times when the priests were riding one another. If you have any education in your brain and read, and whether little daddy is dying or he's sick, so what? Because see, men like them, if he's lived his life, and if he was a man with a bit of an education brain, he'd know all about it. Now, you're full of crap, right?
Sharon.
You're full of crap. Emma, you're nothing. You're just full of crap. No, I wouldn't listen to you.
Okay.
Sharon, I don't want to disrespect you because of your age, okay? But what I am saying to you is you haven't a breeze what you're on about.
Get a life.
God love you.
Emma, get a life.
What's about disrespecting people because of their age?
Just listen,
I don't want to condescending because of her age. It's a topic that she's talking about, not a fucking flipping age.
She says,
Sorry about
I'm not able. I don't want to disrespect her because I feel bad for her. But
I think Sharon is well able to handle herself.
Do you know what that girl is, that Emma one? She needs to crawl under a rock. 5 months, her weasel of a voice has been on, and she thinks she's above everyone. Let her be social welfare. Let her be this, let her be that she's on. Emma, get a life. You don't know whether you're a man. You don't know what you are.
Oh, I think I do, Sharon. It's just you're scared of me because I'm so young and I have such a strong opinion.
I don't think they're that scared of you somehow. Listen, it's 11:30. We're nearly out of time. A lot to try and squeeze in. Hooray! I agree with that woman about the Emma one. That Lisa, Lisa, there's one for you as well. You're going to like this, Lisa. That Lisa one talks a load of rubbish. Emma has the guts to say what most people think.
I God love them. That's probably Emma's family. Emma needs to go off and she needs to have sex. And I hope she gets
Oh, you didn't mention that word, did you?
And I hope...
Oh, she mentioned the S word.
She's gay, and I hope she's left on her own with her gay child, and reality bites her in the arse.
You've upset so many people. You've mentioned the S word now. That's it. I can see the complaints coming in already. 53104 for 20 cents. 6797 FM104 is our phone number. It is. Let's be honest. By the way, Craig, how long are you with your partner?
Coming up 2 years.
2 years, okay. And when you told, I presume you told your parents?
Yeah.
When you said your dad broke down into tears. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I hid it for many years, trying not to be gay, because
how good at that were you?
Well, I'm quite straight acting, so people would never have guessed I was gay until you get to know me. And it really hurt him that he found out that I hid it because of him, and I didn't want him to be upset or, ashamed of me. And he was more upset that I never came out and told him.
Okay, stay with us. I've got to take a quick break because Ashmad is on the phone. He actually agrees with Emma, and we'll find out why in a second, because you see, families are very complicated things. Let's be honest about it. Here's another one. Chris, I'm 39 years old, straight man. I have 2 kids in Dublin, in Scotland, 4 stepchildren, Donegal. If any of them told me they're gay, I would be happy for them, and etc. I'm listening on the phone. He's listening on the phone app in Donegal. Okay. I appreciate 53104 for 20 cents, by the way, is their text. let's do a final vote on this. Is he doing the right thing? Coming home and saying to his dad, who's clearly dying, he's 85, and the family are saying, well, maybe you shouldn't tell him this, because he's not alone coming home and saying that he's gay. He's also, he's married to his husband. 6797 FM104 is our phone number. Let me see. That woman, Sharon, is a hero. Sharon is a hero. All right, there you go. And she, all right, this is the 60-year-old, to be fair, was giving it socks to Emma. Welcome back to you. 6797 FM104 is the phone number. 53104 for 20 cent. A lot of votes coming in on this as well. Ashmad, hello, how are you?
Good, how are you, Chris?
Very good. All right, now, so far, we're actually very international tonight. We have loads of guys from Africa, I think Scotland, loads of other... Now you're from Afghanistan.
I'm sure I'm the first person I call from Afghanistan.
Okay. Actually, no, I think we'd won a few months ago, but there you go. Yeah. You're not actually calling from Afghanistan, you're obviously here, but you agree with Emma, which is, not some people do. To be
110% I agree with him, 110%. This, it's 21st century. What about 22nd century?
Yeah.
You will see the 3 men gonna get married.
Say again?
In 22nd century, yeah?
Yeah.
You will see 1 woman and 5 men gonna get married. Then the people say, it's the 22nd century. And you will see 4 men get together married. It's 22nd century. What's going on in this world?
Okay, do you not think that, you're just looking at extremes, though?
No, I am not, Chris. No, I am not. I'm living in Ireland. My wife is from Europe even. I'm not.
Okay. All right. What? So when Emma's just appalled that 2 gay guys are coming home to their father, to his father, to say that he's gay, he's married his partner who happens to be male. It's perfectly legal for him to do that. It
is legal. Let him pass away peaceful without anything. What his father did to him and what he gonna do with him.
His father's 85.
I know.
And dying.
I know. Let him should be his final Christmas.
Yeah, it probably will be his final Christmas. Yeah. But should he not be honest with his dad and say, this is my life now?
I don't think so. You should tell.
If that was you, you're a father.
I am.
Okay, if one of your sons came to you, in a few years' time and told you that story, how would you react?
Exactly same like him. I turned my back to him.
Like Emma. Emma would turn her back.
110%. 110%.
Yeah.
Even my child gonna get already he make love or have a boyfriend before marriage. I don't think so. I will turn my back to her.
Yeah, me too.
And
disgusting.
Would everybody
listening to him for 4 months? I'm all the time agree with her.
You always agree with her.
Always.
That's because you're obviously another fucking simpleton.
Mind your language. You're talking in the radio. What do you
Come here. What religion are you?
I am Muslim. I'm proud.
Come in and tell you something before. What's your name?
Ashmat.
Ashmat.
Come in and tell you something right before we go any further.
Okay.
You are preaching, right, from a religion where your Prophet Muhammad married a 6-year-old. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that right?
He didn't. He got married the first time with 40-year-old woman.
He married, and then she died, right? And then he married a 6-year-old girl. His first wife died, and then he married a 6-year-old girl. Is that right?
That was the first lady.
I don't give a bollocks if it was the first or the 10th. I'm asking you, did the prick marry a 6-year-old child?
Learn some literature.
Did he marry a 6-year-old child?
No, he didn't. He got it.
Well, then you're fucking lying, and you're lying against your own religion. So actually, you're choosing what you spread about your religion. Your religion, right, spreads hatred against homosexual people. End of story, right? So actually, your opinion it's not even valid because you just spread...
Well, I tell you, it's valid in a sense. You don't have to agree with his opinion. You don't have to appreciate it. You can challenge it as you have. However... It's an opinion which not a lot of people would agree with you, Ashmad, in doing. Is that normal? Say other guys who are from Afghanistan, would they be very much like you? They would turn their back.
Of course, yeah. if the child do like that. What is gay? If all the people is gay and lesbian, what's going on in the world? Who's going to live in the world then?
So what should they...
Later.
Should they pretend to be straight if they're not?
Of course.
They should pretend to be straight?
No, they...
If they're gay, Ashmat. There's nothing they can do about it.
Chris, the saying the born gay. Why the people is not born and get 100 years back?
Say again?
If somebody say, they didn't choose to be gay, they born gay.
Yeah.
They didn't born gay, Chris. Why the people is not born gay 100 years back?
You see, it depends who you believe. A lot of people believe they're genetically born gay, and there's nothing they can do about it.
That's all rubbish.
That's all right, James.
Really agree.
Hang on. James has been listening to that. Hello, James. How are you?
Hello, how are you doing?
Not bad. Okay, what do you say?
He's one of these people that...
No, don't start using words like that, because that's highly insulting to some people. Don't use words like that.
Telling us that we're wrong, we should be condemned and everything. Who is he to turn around and say to me and everybody else that's being voted in this country to vote that we're legally allowed now to be married? We legally fight in this world for many in this country for a long, long time to be gay. It was against the law to be gay for not so long ago. Now we are here and we have this fucking foreigner coming into this country telling us that we're wrong. He's in my country telling that we're wrong.
No, he's saying that we're in his country. That is forbidden, which it is, Ashmat, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. I mean, a lot of Muslim countries, it is forbidden. There's lots of things. Drink is forbidden. Same-sex marriage and same-sex is forbidden. Although, let's be honest, if we were all really honest with each other, I was talking to some people in the medical profession. They told me about one or two, Saudi Arabia in particular, of the amount of sort of operations they have to do on some young men because of rape is extraordinary, and they're told to shut up and keep quiet about it. So there's a lot of hypocrisy there as well. Neve is on the phone as well. Neve, how are you?
Not too bad. How are you?
I think someone touched a little nerve here tonight, and Ashmad now is upsetting an awful lot of people.
Ashmad, the first thing you said when you came on the phone, men and women are going to marry 3 or 4 people. In religions somewhere in the world, that happens. That does.
They break up and they remarry, yeah.
So, therefore, you're a gimp. You're Muslim, as you just said. So, in your country, you look down on that. That's all right. Emma is afraid to offend people who are older than her. Well, I'm your age, Emma. All right?
Listen, I don't need to come to you. You're after coming on here someone with an opinion, a gimp. You, my friend, are a little pleb, and I have no need to speak to you.
Oh, I'm a pleb.
I'm a lower-class scumbag.
Oh, I'm a lower-class scumbag, Emma. Get yourself a life, you
call him a gimp. You're an absolute parasite.
Hang on a sec.
You're a parasite.
You are. Coming on and calling a Muslim a gimp because he has an opinion.
Chris, I didn't say the people get divorced married. I said in 50 years or 100 years later, the people get 3 together married, 4 people together married. The people gonna say it's 22nd centuries.
Okay, but I did say that maybe you were just exaggerating a little bit there. But your bottom line is you agree with them. And there's loads of, I mean, you're in a, this is the law of the land. I presume you're working here, Ashmat. Okay, the law of the land is, if these people can get married if they wish.
So, I don't know what...
There's nothing you can do about it.
Then. Yeah, that's true.
If you don't like it, leave. Go back to Afghanistan.
What about me? What about me? I'm an Irish.
You, Emma, I'll meet you.
What do you want to do with me?
I would dance.
Can you tell the Irish people back from Australia, Canada? How many people Ireland went to America?
Thousands and thousands.
4.
Yeah, there are thousands of people coming back. This is one of the main stories. There are a lot of other stories coming into us of a very similar nature. People coming back from the States, Australia, Europe, Spain, you name it. Even Russia. A lot of people working in Russia. They're coming back for Christmas, and they will have this story. But it's not just the story will be they're saying to their dying father, and presume they want to make peace with their dad, saying that he's gay and he has a husband.
And he has every right to tell his father that.
Yeah.
It's his life. If he wants to tell his father who he really is, So
Why should
be
he
it.
destroy
That's not
someone
your
else's
problem,
life?
Emmy. That's
Why
not your
should he
problem.
destroy
You are a
someone
sad
else's
lowlife.
Why should he destroy someone else's life?
How is that destroying somebody else's life? It's not destroying anybody's life.
How do you know? How do you know that it's not going to destroy his father's life? His last few days on earth.
Oh
he's gonna
my
be
God! How do you know his father's going to die in a few days? He could live longer
in a few months. Then in a few months, silly cow. In a few months,
silly cow. Would you ever get over yourself?
Ashman, what do you say to people like Niamh who, and she's not alone in this, they have every right to get married and live a happy life. I think you also said, if I'm getting you right, that it was very unfair to say it to the father.
It's 100% true. And some people, Chris, they said we born gays, yeah? Some ladies, the other night you was talking.
Yep.
She said, I am gay, if you remember, 3-4 nights ago. She said, I am gay and I have 2 kids. Why she wasn't born gay before and she has 2 kids and then she...
No, what she was saying...
Born gay.
No, what she was saying that she has 2 kids and one of them is gay, that's all.
Remember that?
Yep.
Oh.
And how she born, if she born gay, why she was before straight and she become later gay? You know what I'm saying?
No, either, a lot of people, including some eminent doctors at this stage, have said, look, it's all genetics at this stage. You're pre-programmed to have blue eyes, you know what I mean, blonde hair, whatever it may be, including your sexuality. I mean, what would you suggest to people who are gay? What should they do, Ashmet? What should they do?
Now the country give the vote, yes.
What would you suggest that they do, regardless of the vote?
If I vote myself, I know if they said no this time, the government gonna put 5 years later again they give a vote until they said yes, the people, Chris. That's why I did.
You'd like another vote to repeal the...
Yeah, until they get the answer, yes, they're gonna vote again.
That wouldn't be a democracy, that would be a dictatorship. We keep voting until we get the result that we want.
Yeah, that's true.
So do you agree with a dictatorship then, yeah?
Yeah. If they said this time no...
There you go.
It was
Jesus, you haven't learned an awful lot in this country. What about a democracy and, the rights of freedom of speech and all that nonsense?
If it was under May, if the people vote no, Chris, yeah?
Yeah.
They will put back next year or 2017... Come on, we have to vote again. Until they get the answer.
That's not the way it works. You're not, I mean, most politicians would love that, but you can't keep going back to say, Jesus, we didn't get the vote we wanted. We'll try it again until we get a yes or a no. It doesn't work like that.
I know.
That's when you have some tin pot little nut job regime. You know what I mean? This isn't Saudi Arabia.
Chris is not a politician to become a Taoiseach or anything. This vote, you see a lot of countries. I see myself. I know my English is not good, but I'm not that.
No, we're understanding. We're understanding what you say. No, you're right. There are politicians here who'd love that. By the way, here's the Afghan guy talking. Chris is talking about 3 or 4 entering marriage. Is he forgetting that in his prehistoric religion, one man can marry as many women as he wants? That's from Gary. By the P.S. I'm gay and I've been with a few Muslims.
Okay,
By the way, what do you say to gay Muslims who are now calling us in saying there's plenty of Muslims who are gay?
So, yes, I'm not saying no. In Saudi Arabia, even there is gay.
Say that again. In which? Sunni, is it?
In Saudi Arabia, yeah.
Yeah.
I know there is even the people gay. But the one he talks to, he said I am gay. I don't know he is Muslim or not. He said I am Muslim.
Or in some Muslim countries, they put them to death on Friday. Do you appreciate that?
In Saudi Arabia, yeah.
Yeah. And is that the way they handle it, yeah?
No, the gay people, they just push the walls, whatever.
Oh, they push them off the wall, yeah.
If they have two witness or whatever, I have... Anyway, I am in work at the moment, Chris. I swear to God, yeah, my rodeo, I am in the car, I stop the car. So if the boy said, why we get with 4 women married, yeah?
I get you. Just a bit shocked at that. He was just giving me detail. If you have 2 witnesses, here you go. If you have 2 witnesses, then they justify bringing you to a nice tall tower and throwing you off it until you're dead. There you go. Happy Christmas.